DT. Hope you're having yourselves a terrific morning this morning and making the most of the time that you have here on a Friday. Appreciate you being here with us, and thank you for your patience here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You're watching on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as facebook.com/livenowdt, and you are listening on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage. So however you're connecting with the show, thank you so much for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, here every single Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, including our specialty shows on site on location at places like the Wildcat Sports Pub, Pizza Man Pub, Avicoli's, as well as Cafe Ball and Progressive Dental. So we thank you for coming out to all those locations and spending time with us on site as well. And once the shows go live, they hop into our archive, and you can pick them up right there on Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, MixLR, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Podbean by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and searching one word, Wake Up Call DT. And a special thanks to all of our Central and Upstate New York partners, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Ma & Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Avicoli's, Progressive Dental, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, the Lemoyne Dolphins, Pizza Man, Honda City of Liverpool, Mother's Cupboard, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, PB&J's Lunchbox, and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, and of course the Millhouse Market, all proud partners here in Central and Upstate New York. So, with that being said, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, you could find Cafe Kubal in so many different locations around our beautiful community of Central and Upstate New York by going to 3501 James Street, 401 South Salina Street, 208 North Townsend Street, all located in Syracuse, as well as going inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, where they're doing incredible work for our kids, and we thank them for that as always. And a special thanks to the locations that you can find also by going out to Manlius at 343 Fayette Street, and the newest location, which is their first ever drive-through location, which you can get at the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse, New York. So make sure you head out there as well, where we started off this week following the grand opening show that we did with Miss Mary Grimes, the new head coach of the Lemoyne Dolphins women's basketball team. On Monday, we were there with the new athletics director of Lemoyne College and had the opportunity to spend some time with Bob Beretta. So a lot of great stuff here this week that we got to jump off with, and I can't believe that it's a week tomorrow since we were there with Mary Grimes, but time flies, which should only teach you to enjoy it, celebrate it, appreciate it, and love it every single day. So very much looking forward to today's broadcast. A lot of fantastic stuff coming up for you. A lot of great people going to be on the show today. A lot of awesome conversations coming your way. So I'm ecstatic about the opportunity to have the annoying moment of the week start things off in just a moment. Proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It is what happy tastes like, and they'll be joining us here first, and then we'll get into, from the annoying moment of the week, we'll go on at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we'll jump into my conversation with Miss Juanita Ward in something that we call Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. That'll be coming to you at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, and then we will have our top dog of the week. Top dog of the week is going to be Mr. Mike Washington of the Buffalo Bulls and formerly of the CNS North Stars, and a native of Utica right here in Central and Upstate New York. He's going to be joining us in just a little bit. So I'm announcing him as the top dog of the week, which he did not know, and then we are having a conversation from there and from the fields of Buffalo. We'll be talking with Mike Washington Jr. from, I believe, the practice field for the Buffalo Bulls as they get set to take on 16th ranked in the nation, Coastal Carolina. So excited about that at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And immediately following that, I have the wonderful women that have been here with me before, Miss Amy Sakaitis, as well as Caitlin Hodge Mahalis, Emily O'Donnell, and Bridget Walsh will all be joining me to share our thoughts, laughs, and positivity, speaking on the topics of the day on the court and in life, speaking about mental health, taking time for yourself, learning from the pandemic, and all of these things that connect the world of sports to the world of life and the world of really being good to yourself and making sure that you are taking care of your mental health, your social health, your economic health, your physical health, your spiritual health, and so on and so forth. So that conversation is a can't miss conversation coming up right after Mike Washington and I have a beautiful conversation, like I said, from the practice field of the Buffalo Bulls as they get set for Coastal Carolina, honoring Mike Washington as this week's top dog of the week. So with all that being said, plenty of show coming up for you, and it's time to hop right into the beginning of that, which is the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It is what happy tastes like, and it is the first piece of every single Friday, including today, which is, I'm very excited, my dog's in heaven, Mordu and Cinnamon's birthday. So happy birthday to my big bro and my big sis. I love you both, Mordu and Cinnamon. Brother and sister in real life from the same litter, and given his gifts to my parents 3 years before I was born, and then I got to spend, about 14 years with Mordu and Cinnamon. So I love you all, and I miss you all, and I hope you're well. Be good. So, with that being said, let's hop into the annoying moment of the week.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really, honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like. And my annoying moment of the week, I got a bunch. I feel like for this week, there's a lot of different places I can go, but one of the places I could definitely go to is people that hold grudges. You know, people that are, that are in conversations with you. Oh, 8 years ago, you blah, 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 blah. It was 8 years ago. Okay? It was 8 years ago. So, these people that hold grudges, that you constantly feel like you have to impress, that you constantly feel like you have to make sure that they're okay, and did they know, and I'm not going to this funeral because I love you. I'm going to this funeral because I don't want to hear about it later. And, you don't do things out of guilt. You don't do things out of guilt, folks. You do things because you care. You do things because you want to. You should only ever do something because, I know you may not want to take out the trash, okay? So I know you could say that back to me. But what I'm saying to you is you should do things not because somebody guilted you into it or forced you to do it. Because that's going to create resentment. It's going to create anger. It's going to create frustration. You're not going to feel like yourself, and it's not healthy. So my annoying moment of the week is when people just can't let go of the past. And they hold grudges, and they get mad, and they constantly want you to feel bad about who you are as a human being. I don't like that, and I don't stand for that. And I'm not going to watch somebody go through it, and I'm not going to go through it myself. Because it's not worth it. And there's nobody that deserves to do that. No one is God. No one should be taking anything from you. And so for me, that's how I look at it. Just don't do things for any other reason than you want to do them. And again, I know you may not want to take the trash out, but just understand the importance of certain things. You know what I mean? And when you're a grown person, and you've just realized over the years, like sometimes, people don't always change, right? And that can be an annoying moment of the week for many of us. People don't always change. And when they don't change, right, when we're hoping for something that we never get, and we try to force the square peg into the round hole and it doesn't fit, and we get mad. Why? Why get upset? This person's already shown you they're not going to fit into your life. the way that you want them to. You know, and I think it is. It's I don't think it is. I know it is. I know it's frustrating. I know it's frustrating when you're hoping that your dad's always going to come through and he doesn't, or you're hoping that, you know, somebody, you know, one of your friends is going to maybe give you a call when you're the one that always calls them. You know, you hope that things are going to happen that don't always happen. And you get mad every single time. You know, I have this conversation with my mom. Some people in her life say, you know, I wish this person would clean up after themselves. I wish this person would say thank you. And I said, Ma, you know, they never do, though. And they never have. And they probably never will. So every time you get mad, I feel bad for you because you make perfect sense and you have every reason to be upset. But you know that this person isn't going to change. So either you don't be around them, or, you know, I mean, you tell them to their face, hey, I'd love for you to clean up. I'd love for you to, you know, give me some money for dinner. I'd love for you to do this. I mean, you do the best you can in that respect, and you ask for things in that respect. But after that, if you don't get it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, then it's showing you that that's not what that person's willing to give, and it's not what they're willing to do. And to continue to ask somebody for something they're not going to give is like banging your head against the wall. And what's the point of that? You know what I mean? So I think in life it's so easy to give other people advice but not take it ourselves. And, you know, when we give that advice, we should listen to it. Some people change, some people don't. Some people you can say, hey, can you take the trash out? And they go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that I didn't do it. But other people go, yeah. And then they won't do it. So, you know, people are going to be who they are. And you can't control that. You know? My mom told me that. My dad told me that. Listen, you can't control other people. They're going to do what they want to do. They're going to say what they want to say. They're going to be who they want to be. You can't control that.
You know, just really to talk about that a
little
bit
more. But what you can control is your response to it. What you can control is your reaction. What you can control is your decision making. Do you really want to be around this person that just drives you nuts? You know, and I think in today's world, after going through a pandemic and everything we've been through, wouldn't you want to stay away from people that are negative and people that are crazy and people that bother you and people that constantly frustrate you? Wouldn't you want to take a break and take a breather? I can't imagine being married to the person that I was during the pandemic. I feel like we would have gone insane. And and so, you know, looking back on those moments, it's like, thank God that we broke up before the pandemic. That was a blessing. You know, that was God looking out for me. That was God going, hey, you don't need the stress. And, you know, you have to look at things in your life and ask yourself the question, is this friend fruitful? Is this friend giving to my life in a positive way? Is this family member doing that? Is the person I'm dating, the person I'm married to? There's nothing wrong with you don't just give up. You walk up to someone and say, hey, this hurt me. Hey, this bothered me. Hey, I don't like this. But then watch their reaction. Because why would you want to go up to somebody over and over and over again and saying you hurt me on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and then you took a break on Thursday and Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday again and Tuesday and Wednesday? Why would you want to do that? I want peace. Juanita and I are going to talk about it in a couple minutes. I want peace in my sanctum. You know, I call my home my sanctum sanctorum. The place I protect, you know, like Doctor Strange. And it's my peace. It's my peaceful place. When I come home, I want to relax. I don't want to come home to somebody driving me nuts. I don't come home to somebody fighting with me and running around the house and this and that. I want to have fun. And if I'm not having fun with it, and I'm not saying every day is fun, or no, I shouldn't say every day is fun. Every day is fun. But I'm not, or isn't. I'm not trying to say that you don't have to do the dishes and you don't have to cook and you don't have to take out the trash. But be with people that make that fun. You know? Be with people that make that exciting.
What's up, everybody?
I love to cook.
Studio.
I love to do the dishes. It calms me down. Shuts my brain off. So, my annoying moment of the week is don't be around people that hold grudges. Don't be around people that bring up the past. Don't be around people that constantly make you feel like you need to do something. And when someone hurts you and they don't care, don't apologize for other people. Don't apologize, because that leads to resentment. Don't apologize for other people. You know? We should have learned in the last 18 months to love each other, to help each other, to be there for each other, to not apologize when we're not wrong, to apologize when we are, to listen, to hear, not listen to speak, but listen to actually hear, because the difference is listening to hear means you're listening to someone to take in the information and really care about what they say. Listening to speak means you're just waiting for them to stop talking so you can start talking. You know, and that's something I had to learn. It's something that other people had to learn. You know, I could be a better listener. I didn't need to talk all the time. I can back up and listen. You know? So you learn that. And you grow and you evolve. You're supposed to. That's life. But the world today, I mean, we're so disbanded. We're so disjointed. I believe in this. You believe in that. Who cares, man? I'm not saying your beliefs don't matter. But Jeepers Christmas. If I'm in a gas station and someone's got a bumper sticker and they voted for the other person that I voted for, who the heck cares? Who cares? That's your life. Do you? You know? You voted for them because for whatever reason you... Like, listen. We live in a free society. That means we can eat what we want, drink what we want, drive what we want, do the job we want, vote for who we want, practice the religion that we want, have the thoughts that we want. That's what freedom is. Socialism, communism, Nazism, that's when people, you can't think that way, you can't feel that way, you can't believe that, you can't do that. No. That's not us. That's not us. Okay? It's not what my grandfathers fought for. It's not what my great uncles fought for. It's not what my grandmother built weapons for to try and protect the world back in the day. That's not us. Be who you are and be proud of that. I ask people for two things when they come on this show. Justify your opinion and be respectful. Why can't people do that in politics? Why can't people do that in religion? Why can't people do that when they see a bumper sticker that they don't like? Justify your opinion and be nice. That's it. Don't have an opinion just to have an opinion. I like the Cowboys. Why? Because, well, give me a reason. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't owe me a reason, but I'm saying have one. Have one. And beyond that, be nice. You know, where is this? I mean, in school, we used to, debate or have, like, speech communication classes, and you would talk. Talk, you know what I mean? Back and forth. This is what I agree with. This is what I don't agree. Okay, then let's talk about it. I say all the time, I don't want to be in a relationship for the rest of my life unless her and I can talk. We can communicate, and if she's upset, then honey, what are you upset about? Okay? Justify it. What is it? What's going on? Help me make sense of what's bothering you, and then let's work on it. Let's be nice. Let's compromise. Right? Where did we go as a society that we can't compromise anymore? We can't work together. I want the green popsicle. I want the blue one. Okay, well then let's cut them in half and have them together. What's the deal, bro? Come on. You know what I mean? It's annoying to me that I'm 35 years old and when I was 10, people were nicer to each other. I'm a grown adult and I watch grown adults every single day act like kids. And you teach your kids. Because, listen, our kids are not learning to be jerks. You're teaching them how to be. Okay? You teach a kid how to be a jerk. I was a kid. I know. You got to teach us how to be a jerk. Every young person in this world, they're innocent. And you're feeding them either hate speech or love. Spread love. Why is that hard? well, my down the street, he believes in God and he voted for. Who cares, bro? Who cares, bro? Who cares? You live in a free society. So be free and let others be free. It doesn't mean the freedom to hurt people. It doesn't mean the freedom to hate speech. It doesn't mean the freedom of violence. It doesn't mean the freedom of negativity. What it means is we have the freedom to be good people however we choose to be. Right? I don't know what's in style and in fashion. I wear whatever I want. Why? Because it's who I am. I wake up in the morning, I go, I want to wear my Marvel t-shirt today. Or I want to wear a suit. What's the day? Who cares what people think what I wear? Why does it matter? Remember when we were kids, when I was a kid, right? Joan Rivers, rest in peace. Joan would do the red carpet stuff, right? She would talk about, I like this dress, I don't like this dress, I like this dress, I don't like this dress. And it used to be with celebrities. Now it's with all of us. Maybe that's why people have egos, because everybody thinks they're a celebrity. But now people comment on everything. Oh, you wore that shirt? Who cares? Who cares? Do you understand the amount of stress you put yourself under when you care what people think? Other people's opinions are none of your business. Other people's opinions of you are none of your business. They're none of your business. If you dig deep enough, you're going to find somebody that hates you. And it may not make any sense. Who cares what they think? Who cares what other people think? It's not your God. It's not you. Who cares what they think? Be who you are. Love who you are. And be able to live with your actions and decisions. And for the love of God, please, just be nice to each other. That's my annoying moment of the week. Just be nice. Be nice. I am so sick and tired. There's an election, and for 4 years we fight about it. Until the next one we fight. We never stop fighting. This is America. We're all American. We are American. I don't care who you, what the, blah, 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 blah. We're American. We're human beings. If Spain needs help, we should help them. If we need help, we should help each other. Right? There's a monsoon attacks India. Let's help India. And if India saw us go through something, oh man, Hurricane Ida, they should come here and help us too. Because we're human beings and we should love and help each other. Love, peace, and elbow grease, baby. Be good to each other. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking you to do what you did when you were 5. When you were a little kid. When you didn't even know anything about politics. You didn't know anything about... No, you just were a kid. You just said, oh, look at that kid's playing basketball. I like basketball. Hey, Bobby, you want to play with me? Sure, Tim, I do. Yay. Be that way. You know how much I would love at 35 years old if I went to the court today and I was shooting and some other kid was shooting. He's like, hey, man, want to play horse together? Sure, bro. New friend day. Why not? How about today? I'm going to challenge you today. I'm going to challenge you today coming out of the annoying moment of the week. Because we take something negative and we spin it to a positive. I'm going to challenge you today. I'm going to challenge you to say hello to one stranger and be open to making a new friend. That's my challenge to you today. Be open to making a new friend and talk to, and I'm not saying stranger danger, okay? So let's not get weird here. I'm saying be willing to say hello. You know, you open the door for someone at the grocery store and it's, hey, how you doing? Good? Okay, great. Hope you have a good day. I do it all the time. I say, hey, how you doing? I'll hold the door for someone and be like, oh, thank you so much. I'm like, you too. Have a great day. You know? And I mean it. Don't say it unless you mean it. I mean it. When I say have a great day, I mean have a great day. So my challenge to you today is to be open to talking to someone you don't know and saying something nice and be open to having a new friend. Because this country is only disjointed because we've chosen to be. Not because we want to be necessarily, and not because we need to be, but because we made the choice. Whether or not you know it, someone pushed you off that cliff. And why you don't talk to your neighbor? You might not even know anymore. Remember how some people say, like, we fought for so long we don't even know what we're fighting about anymore? We're just so used to fighting. You see it in TV shows all the time. Feuding families. Why are they feuding? I don't know. Because 4 generations ago somebody took somebody else's lunchbox in the cafeteria. And now you have to hate their great-granddaughter. Like, what? So, folks, please, don't make me come here next week and say the annoying moment of the week is the same thing. Please be nice to each other, considerate of each other, kind to each other, and understand that a smile goes a long way, and that kindness is the only thing that's going to make this world a better place. But continuing to hate, put your head down, and ignore people, and hating people for having a different opinion than you is only going to create a world where everyone's going to be in their house by themselves. Well, I'd like that, Daniel. No, you wouldn't. You'd like it for a little while. But we are creatures that like to be together. So, be kind, be courteous, be open to the difference of other people's opinions, and for the love of goodness, just do something nice and watch how that can change the world. It may not happen immediately, but it'll happen. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad Lib, and Deliver is up next with Juanita Ward, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Big time shout out to Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week every single week. And of course, whether something's annoying you or not, having a great day or having a tough day, head out to Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street, the exclusive home of the Orange Dream. Perfect time as we jump into orange season to get my spin on the orange creamsicle as a sundae or a shake. Grab it today right at Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like. We'll be back inside the Cafe Kubal studios right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on facebook.com/livenowdt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. /Wake Up Call DT. However you're listening to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we proudly welcome you in to this episode and every single episode that we have here inside the Cafe Kubal studios. We thank you so much for tuning in to the show. As always, very much appreciate it. So, hope you're having a fantastic day today. Greg said, love it, DT. Make a new friend Friday. Let's make an extra effort to spread some more kindness. Yeah, new friend Friday. You know what? That's my new thing. NFF. New friend Friday. Bung. There it is. Done. New friend Friday. Hashtag it. Let's do it. Here it is. Hashtag NFF. New friend Friday. There we go. Brought to you by Wake Up Call. It's New Friend Friday, baby. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here. So, NFF, make a new friend today. New Friend Friday. Be open to it. Don't force it, but be open to it. It's New Friend Friday. That's what we're doing here. So, we're inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, and it's time to get inside of Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. And I'm going to get things started here. I know Juanita's running around here, so hopefully we'll be able to get her onto the broadcast. Either way, I'm going to give you this segment for Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver, and that is today's topic is keeping peace inside your sanctum sanctorum. So, very excited about the opportunity to do this, and I thank you so much for being here today and spending some time with us inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. But keeping the peace within your sanctum sanctorum, and this is proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. And I thank you so much for being here and for hanging out with us. So let's jump right into the topic of this, keeping peace within your sanctum. Now, I call it my sanctum sanctorum because I am a Marvel fan and I love Doctor Strange and all that good stuff. Doctor Strange is about to get weird, though. I mean, it's already weird, but if you've ever read the comics, I should have brought one into the studio today. But I have some crazy. I mean, there's yellow with eyes everywhere. It's nuts. It's nuts. So it's really cool, but it's crazy. And so keeping peace within your sanctum. How do you keep peace within your sanctum? And it's kind of coming off of what I was talking about in the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, going hand in hand here. Keeping peace within your sanctum. How do you do that? How do you keep peace? And, it's an effort. It's definitely an effort. It takes time. It takes energy. It takes figuring out kind of, what you need as an individual to keep your peace. But it's so important. It's so vital inside of Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver, giving you a segment or giving you a topic to focus on every single week. Within this segment brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, today's topic is keeping peace within your sanctum. You have to be smart about who you let into your sanctum, first and foremost. You got to be smart about who's allowed in the building, okay? And sometimes you can't control who you're around, but you can control how often you are, right? Now, if you're in a house and your parents are stressful, and your parents maybe are abusive or negative or whatever that may be, it's difficult, right? To say, well, where do I go, Dan? I can only run to my room for so long, and that's true, and that's a situation that I pray and I hope gets better, because that's one of those situations that's just not good all the way around in a very sad way. But in an average situation, right? You may have your ups and downs with mom and dad or your guardians or your brothers, your sisters. But you have to keep peace within your sanctum. Growing up as a kid, maybe the sanctum is your room. But what you realize as you grow up is the sanctum is your soul. The sanctum is your insides. The sanctum is your heart. The sanctum is your mind. The sanctum is your body. You become the vessel. You become the sanctum. Okay, for Doctor Strange, it's that building. Well, for you, it's you. You become that sanctum. And we have Juanita Ward here with us today to speak on this. So we're going to bring Juanita in. Juanita, how you doing today?
Hey, Dan, how's it going?
It's going well, very well. And we're talking about today's topic, keeping peace within your sanctum. You know, and realizing that growing up, you know, maybe your sanctum is your bedroom. Maybe your sanctum is, you know, the porch swing. Maybe your sanctum is your treehouse. But what you realize as you grow older is that your sanctum is really you. It's your body, it's your mind, it's your heart, it's your soul. Your sanctum is your inner, and you have to protect that inner. And I'd love to get your thoughts on how you protect your inner sanctum, how you protect yourself from the stress of the world. How do you keep the peace?
Well, most importantly, Dan, number one, I always thank God. That's the first thing I do. I wake up and I thank God. Because had it not been for him, I would not have been able to make it into this day. He clearly breathed into my body and said, you know what? This is another day that I have made and created. Number one, rejoice. Number two, be glad. And so I'm so thankful to him because clearly he sees fit for us to do something in this day because we woke up this morning. It could be another way. You know, people could be coming and singing over us. But God saw fit for us to wake up today. And what else I do is I pray. I go into a place of just awe and just praying with him, whether that's 10 minutes, whether that's 15 minutes, whether that's an hour, or whether that is inwardly all day. You know, you can get into that place of prayer where you can, you know, pray for yourself. You can pray for other people, and you don't have to go into a closet. I heard somebody say it like this, Dan. Working people can't go into a closet all day long and pray. Yeah. Because you have to go to your job. And you just hit the nail on the head. Being able to get into that secret place, such as the closet or such as, you know, a place in your bedroom or whatever, being able to get into that secret place. If we want to get into the secret place of hearing and understanding God's voice and hearing and get in a relationship with God, we have to realize that that place is within us. That inwardly place resides in us. And you have to be able to understand that and say, you know what? That's right. I don't have to go into a closet all day long and pray. But what I can do is find that small, still voice within myself. Get myself quiet. Even though there's a bunch of chaos going on around, you know, they have this phrase that says, control the chaos. Even though there's a bunch of chaos around, control yourself inwardly. And then, therefore, God will speak outwardly.
Yeah, you know, and that control the insides. Control what you can control. Something that Scott Schaefer said in front of me years ago, and I've heard it a bunch of times since, but he said it first to me and to us in the room, control the controllables. You know, control what you can. You can't control the world. You cannot control if people have different opinions, different religions, different backgrounds, different this, that, whatever. If they want to wear this shirt and you want to wear that shirt and what... You can't control. If your best friend loves Duke and you love Syracuse, you can't control that. If your kid wants to play baseball and you want them to play basketball, you can't control that. You can try to push them, but you're going to push them away. And we can only control what's inside, right? We can control what we say, what we do, what we think. Control our feelings, right? Control your emotions. People say, I can't. Well, you have to, or else everybody would be the Hulk. So, keeping the peace within your sanctum, Juanita, how do you do it? I know you talked about praying and whatnot, but when the world just gets you down, right? When somebody says something to you in public, somebody, you know, one of your friends lets you down, you break up with somebody, you go to the grocery store and somebody cuts you off and takes your parking spot. When those moments happen, big or small, how do you keep your peace?
I always go back to, now I'm a Bible reader. I absolutely love reading the Bible because it gives me basic information before I leave this earth. And it's my lifeline to all that we have that's going on this earth. All the situations and all the circumstances that we may encounter on this earth. There is something in the Bible that is going to have similarity to every situation that's going on this earth. And so I'm a Bible reader. And James 1:19 comes into mind. And it says this: be slow to speak, slow to anger, quick to listen. Be slow to speak, slow to anger, quick to listen. And yes, there is a process of controlling your emotions. It is a process of controlling, how you dictate the atmosphere around you. There is a process of saying, you know what? I don't want to, attract people that are messy and that gossip. I don't want to attract people that don't see the vision. I want to attract people that sees the vision. I want to attract people that are not messy. I want to attract people that do not gossip. I want to attract people around me that are dream followers and dream chasers. I want to attract those type of people around me. And yeah, I have news, Dan, for real. This is true. You can have everything that the Bible tells you to have. You can have it. You just have to change the way you think about life and what has been told to you, because ever since we've been born, there's been some type of persuasion that has affected the way we think. Because a kid comes into the world not having the experience or the knowledge. Only thing a child comes into the world thinking and knowing is that, oh my gosh, this is a brand new place. I was once inside of a womb, then it was dark in here. And I once did not have clear vision to see, but now I'm inside of this world that my eyes are open. This is new.
Yeah.
The only thing I know is that I'm crying, and when my mom feeds me or when my guardian feeds me, I stop crying because it fulfills what I'm looking for. So what am I saying? If we can get to a place of where we once was able to not have all of the persuasion, not have all of the manipulation and the corruption, you just hit something head on. You can only control what you can control. Because someone wants to wear a red shirt and you want them to have on a white shirt, their opinion and your opinion may not see eye to eye, but you have to find some type of common ground in the middle of it. And you cannot force your opinion over on somebody else's opinion. You have to be able to look beneath and look through and see where you all can have some type of common. A great point about Duke and Syracuse. Like what you like, control what you can control, believe what you can believe. Most importantly, respect someone else's opinion. Because as I stated before, you didn't come into the world with all of these persuasions and all of this thinking. You came into the world for one or two things, understanding this. This is a new place, and I need some food.
Yeah. And it's the same thing when we move into a new city. I'm like, man, I'm in a new place and I'm hungry. So, you know what I mean? It's like, where's my Chick-fil-A in this city? So, but, it's real. And what you're saying, and you're speaking the truth, and we're talking, and it's coming off of the annoying moment of the week too, leading into lead, is what I was saying. Hey, listen, we have difference of opinions, we have different thoughts, we have different ways we go about things. Why can't we talk? We've lost the ability to do that. Now, I shouldn't say we've lost the ability, we've decided to not use it. We have it, we just decided not to use it. It's in the toolbox, we just ain't using it. Somebody's going, hey, listen, the screen's off kilter, and somebody else going, yeah, it is. And then somebody else going, we should fix it. And they're going, yeah, we should. But ain't nobody taking the toolbox out. So, that's where we are as a society. It's not about keeping peace. It's about disrupting it. And I don't understand that. If I come outside today and I go and get my trash and I bring, I take my, they took the pails out, whatever, and my trash is empty and I go grab my pail and I see my neighbor across the way and he's got a sign up or a sticker up or something I don't agree with, I still, hey, how you doing? How are you, Roger? Good? Okay, good. You know what I mean? Why? Why be mean to Roger? Roger and I have a different of opinion, but you know what? I'm going to be nice to Roger. You know why? Because he's a child of God. He's my brother. He may not agree with me. Brothers and sisters, they're different. You hear about that all the time. I've been around families where there's 3 sisters, and every single one of them is a different human being. They all have different walks of life, different ways they go about things. You tell them all the same problem, they'll give you 3 different solutions. Because that's who they are. And Juanita, we got lost. Maybe not you and I, we love people, but we got lost. We got lost in this world where if you don't think the same solution that I think, then we're not going to solve the problem. Why can't we solve the problem with everybody? Why can't we work together? Why can't keeping the peace mean saying, hey, this is what I believe, this is what I feel, how can I help? How can I help you today? Instead of saying, oh, you don't want to do it my way? Well, I'm not going to help you. How many times did that happen? Dad's trying to put the grill together, and you said, Dad, it's got to go this way. No, it's got to go this way. No, Dad, this is what the thing says. I think it's got to go this way. And then you end up fighting with each other, and the grill sits there half done. That's what the world looks like right now, a half-done grill. And if a grill's half done, ain't nobody eating, to go back to your point. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, Dan, it's the lure of the flesh. It's the lure of wanting to, it gives you an enticement. It gives people an enticement to say, you know what, my way is the right way, and because I have the power to control which way you think, I'm going to try to do. Because they have the power to control the way that you think, or they feel that they do, they try to oppose their power and oppose their position over on other people. And once again, we go back to the same thing. Stand for what you believe and believe what you say. Let me say that again. Stand for what you believe and believe what you say. Let me say it one more time. Stand for what you believe and believe what you say. What am I saying? If we stand for what we believe in, and we have all the evidence to back it up of what we believe in, obviously that is a understanding and a knowledge that has its research, that has its understanding, and you're getting that understanding from the relationship that you have with God, and you're not leaning to your own understanding. You're letting God direct your path. Most importantly, you believe in what you say, because now you can back your own words up. You don't need somebody that's in a powerful position to tell you what you believe. You do have the freedom of speech and the freedom of the free right to stand and believe in what you say, and it is okay. It has been this way for a very long time. When we were kids, what did bullies come to do? Bullies came to oppose their opinion on you, make you do what they want you to do, and then in return, if you didn't do what they wanted you to do, they either beat you up, or they talked about you, or they, pushed you to the side, they alienized you and pushed you to the side and made sure that everybody else around you didn't like you. So now we come to this thing of poisoning of words. We have to be careful of allowing other people's words to poison us. Everybody has an opinion of their own, and they're going to say whatever it is that they believe. But as long as you believe in what you say, and you're standing on the solid word, which is the Bible, and you have it to back it up, you're covered. You're covered. And it goes back to this. If you don't have a relationship with God, the enemy can attack you any way that it chooses. Because here's one thing that I know to be true, and there's plenty of other backings to this, plenty of other words back into this. But the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But God comes and he brings life, and he brings it to you, and he gives it to you more abundantly. But if you don't know that, how do you know that you have life? If you continuously keep listening to deceitful words, you continuously keep listening to bullies, and you listen to people that do not want, that does not want to affect your life in a good way, but they want you to believe what they say and believe in their opinion, and if you don't, then they come against you. How do you combat that? You have to get your answer in prayer. You have to get your answer from having a relationship with God. And we're talking about going to a place where only you and God are in. You have to get your answer from God. There's no other way that we're going to make it on this earth if we don't have an understanding. When we're talking about going within, or we're talking about going into that secret place, or we're talking about going into that closet, go there mentally. And before you speak, make sure you think.
Yeah.
Because if you don't think about what you're going to say, you're going to say something that's going to offend someone else. It's the world that we live in right now, Dan, right?
Yeah.
Where everyone wants their opinion to be the right opinion. They cannot agree to disagree. And they believe that if I can cause havoc, it's going to raise money, it's going to raise fear. Because if the enemy can continue to control your mind, therefore you can't think, you don't have ways to breathe, you don't have any oxygen coming to your brain for you to have the right answer, the right understanding, because you're so caught up in fear and you're so angry. And it goes back to what I said once before. Be slow to speak, slow to anger, most importantly, quick to listen, which means shut your mouth. Oops, did I say that? Yeah, I did. Shut your mouth and just listen. Because somebody else's opinion may affect you in a positive way. It may affect you in a positive way. Because what somebody else has inside of them, as you stated earlier, Dan, that's another child of God. And you're coming against your own brother and sister. But if we don't get mad at somebody else for not believing in what we believe and saying what we say, the only reason, let me tell you, I put boots on the ground because I want people to be saved from themselves. I want people to know the truth. I want people to understand the truth. I want people to be on the front line and say, you know what? I believe that there is a God that died and rose again for myself, for my soul, so that one day I can live, so that one day I can be free.
Yeah.
We're living in a world that is not created by us, but because we are here, we're here to make change. We're here to bring about purpose. You cannot have change without going through a challenge.
Yeah.
But in order to get the strategy, you have to have a relationship with God. And that's through prayer life.
Yeah. You know, you said it. Shut your mouth. You know, I tell people all the time, I'm like, if I'm in a conversation with somebody and I get to a point where I go, can you just stop? Can you just shut your mouth? Like, just for a minute. And they get so mad. I go, listen to yourself. Listen to where we are. Stop. I tell people that, stop. Just stop. That's all I hear every day is chirping. Man, okay. If this is how it was in 3rd grade when I, or what was it, 8th grade when I ran for class president and I didn't win, if I chirped from 8th grade to 12th grade, man, and nobody would be my friend. People would be like, all right, Dan, shut up. You lost. Move on. Like, it's insane to me. It is insane to me that we just can't stop. Just stop. What are you mad about? Well, you're mad because somebody told you to do something. You're mad about somebody else's beliefs that you took on. What are your beliefs? What do you care about? What's meaningful to you? And how many times does somebody ask you that a day? Do they ever? You know what's meaningful to me? God, number one. My family. Most of it's not blood. Most of it is not blood. Let me say that again. Most of it is not blood. Because my entire life, what was banged into my forehead was you got to love your family regardless of how they treat you. That is not true. I love everybody and I pray for everybody, but the people that I spend my time with, they better be nice to me or else I'm drinking acid all day long. Life it's not that hard, folks. Be nice. Be compassionate. Be kind. Listen to hear. Don't listen to respond. Listen to hear. Yeah. But my opinion. No. Listen to hear. When you were a kid and you and your sibling fought and you were talking over each other, what did your mom do? What did your dad do? Shut up. Stop. That's what they would say. Yeah, but he did, yeah, but no, but he did. And you drove people nuts. You drove your parents crazy. Yeah, but he did, yeah, but she did, yeah, but he... No, but that's who people are now. The 5-year-old annoying you is the 50-year-old person that is screaming on the television right now. We've become old 5-year-olds. That's who we are. That's not what God wants. How do I know? I would think because God is compassionate, kind, loving. God and I have open conversation all the time. I go, God, I don't believe in this. I don't think this is right. And I get that feeling inside where he's like, well, Daniel, but it is. Or, Daniel, you're right. I feel that. But it's that relationship. You want to know why I'm nice to people? Because I believe in God. You want to know why I love myself? Because I believe in God. You want to know why I get up in the morning and I try even when it's hard to? Because I believe in God. And what does that mean? Dan, you don't believe in yourself? Yes, I do. But I believe in love. God is love. Love is God. So every day I wake up and I say, oh man, dating is so hard. These women are crazy. I look up at God and I go, but I know she's out there. I'm going to find her because you're going to help me find her. When I say, oh God, dealing with these people is so tough. I feel like I give them simple things to do and they just can't do the task. You know what, God? But I'm getting up today and I'm going to do it again and I'm going to work again and I'm going to try. Oh, God, traffic. I can't stand it. I get so upset. How come every time I go down this street, it's got to be like this? But you know what, God? Maybe today I pick a new street. Maybe I get up 10 minutes early. Maybe I go do something else. Maybe I go grab myself a coffee. Maybe I'll get something at Cafe Cubal so when I'm, God forbid, sitting in that traffic, I got something nice in my cup. I got my pumpkin spice chai. And traffic tastes better when I got that in my car. You know? Or when I'm just stressed out of my mind, to shut the phone off and turn on my music. Or when I'm talking to somebody and I know they're never going to change their ideals, their beliefs, and where they stand, that I could talk to them for another hour, get tense, have my heart feel like I'm going to have a heart attack, have my brain feel like it's going to blow out my head, or say, you know what? That's what you believe. This is what I believe. We can agree to disagree. I've been stressed out all week because this world and what it's become has weighed heavily on me. And I want better, but I can only control what I can control. And Juanita and I come to you telling you we get it, we see it, we know it. And we can't promise you it's going to change, but we can help you be the best that you can be by talking to you, by living with you, by praying with you. So Juanita, I'm going to defer to you as our final piece of today's lead on keeping your peace in your sanctorum. What words, what prayer, what can we say if you'd like to send a prayer out there that doesn't focus anymore about the negativity? Because we can talk about that till the cows come home, but if you focus on the problem, you're not focusing on the solution. So can you say a prayer today to help me, to help you, to help us move forward in a world that's become stressful, disbanded, disjointed, and disrespectful? Can you say a prayer for us today?
Most definitely, Dan. So, Father God, we thank you. We thank you, oh God, that you are not the author of confusion. We thank you, Father God, that you make all things perfect and you make all things well. We thank you, oh God, that you have given us sound wisdom, sound knowledge, and sound understanding. We thank you, oh God, that you have given us the opportunity to be a light in this world. We thank you, oh God, that you are the author of promise, peace, hope, love, and joy. You give us strength where we are weak. You give us words to speak when we have no other words to speak. We thank you, oh God, that even in the midst of us trying to figure out life, even in the midst of us trying to figure out where we are to go. Father God, we thank you for your sound direction. We thank you for your sound understanding. We thank you for your revelational knowledge. And Father God, you are not the author of confusion. That's the reason why you say you did not give us the spirit of fear, but you gave us power. You gave us a sound mind. And most importantly, you gave us self-discipline. Father God, just because someone else's opinion is not the opinion of ours, let us not grow weary in trying to make a decision that's based on what we believe only. Because God, we know that you have the final say. Father, we thank you for sending Jesus to be love, to be the center. We thank you, oh God, that you said in your word that you did not send us into a world to condemn the world, but that the world might be saved through the blood of Jesus. We thank you, oh God. Some people have fallen asleep with the same fear, with the same agony, with the same understanding of wanting things to be the way that they want it to be. And so, Father, we thank you that we have the freedom to speak what you say, to believe what you say, to hear what you say, and to share it with the love of Jesus Christ. Father, let us not lean to our own understanding, but in all thy way you direct our paths. We thank you, oh God, that even in the midst of what seems to be a fallen world, we thank you, oh God, that you've already prepared us and led us into this assignment, not thinking to our own understanding, but believing that you have the answer for everything. And so, Father, we thank you. We give you glory, we give you praise, and we give you honor. And I pray for a peace that surpasses all understanding to come upon every listener, that they would be slow to speak, slow to anger, quick to listen, and remember that we are our brother's keeper. And we thank you, oh God. What is in your name, Jesus Christ, we pray. And we cover this under the blood of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. And thank you. Thank you, Juanita, for that, because we need it. And, you know, something that I thought yesterday when I was so stressed out, I thought to myself, I said, damn, why are you stressed? God's got your back. You got the ace in the hole. You have the most important teammate. Ain't nobody going to beat that teammate. So what you feel right now, the world wants you to feel. What God wants you to feel is hope, faith, love. Daniel, many times this world felt like it was going to be done, and it wasn't. So many times people thought it's over, and it wasn't. So understand, Daniel, I'm coming, and my second act's going to be better than my first one. So just keep believing, even when it looks like you shouldn't and you can't. Belief without evidence, faith. Have faith, Daniel. That's what I heard last night. Daniel, why are you acting like you lost? You got me, and I never lose. Have faith. Thank you, Juanita, as always.
Thanks, Dan. Take care, man.
Take care. That coming from Juanita Ward here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora this morning. Words of greatness, words of love, words of peace, words of power. Words we need. Thank you, sis. I love you. Please keep doing you and stay focused, people. Stay positive, stay peaceful, stay proud. There's no reason to worry. There's no reason to fret. Our worries are of the world. There ain't no money in heaven. There ain't no houses in heaven that you got to pay for and this, that, whatever. There ain't no traffic in heaven. There is no hate in heaven. There's no dissension and disrespect, discrimination and segregation in heaven. Know that. There ain't none of that in heaven. That's all the world. The world's telling you, ooh, worry. About what? About what? Picture life as a game of basketball. God is saying, Dan, there's 3 seconds left on the clock. You got to take the shot. And the world is going, yo, look over there, look over there, look over there, look over there, hoping that time runs out before you take that shot. They're trying to get you to not focus. 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 And take the shot. Take that shot. The world is trying to get you off your game. Keep dribbling, keep passing, keep shooting. You got this. It's a team sport. Stop looking at the kitty, the bird, the plane, and focus. God wants you to focus. The world wants you to focus. I know it's hard. I've had my own issue with it this week. But focus. Okay? And if you ever need any help, you can always send a message to Juanita and I. Pray. Go to church. Go to synagogue. Go to temple. We're here. We ain't going nowheres. Okay? I love you all. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back right after this.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand butter chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success at Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Of course, you are watching and welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop. Mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt as well, where you're listening worldwide, and you're watching on Facebook.com/wakeupcalldt and Facebook.com/livenowdt and YouTube.com/wakeupcalldt. I am so proud to have this gentleman back on the show. He is none other than someone who is here in our community, ran in Central and Upstate New York, ran for the CNS athletics program for the North Stars. We got to know each other, spent a lot of time together in his recruitment from his first offer all the way through, and his commitment to the university at Buffalo, and his decision to go there early and to join in the spring. So it's been a little bit, but not too long since we've spoken to him. I'm so happy to have Central New York native running back Mike Washington Jr. on the broadcast for the Buffalo Bulls now. Mike, how we doing?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
I'm doing very well. And Mike, I want to jump right into it here. You made the decision to go early, and instead of waiting on whether or not you're going to have a season at CNS, which ended up getting pushed to March, you decided to early enroll at the University at Buffalo and get in there for the spring and start practicing. Bring me into that decision, and what made you really feel like that was the right thing to do?
Well, it was a hard decision. I'm not going to lie, because my senior year for playing with CNS, I really wanted to, finish off strong with my senior year and, take that state title, something that, CNS has never done. So, it was hard to make that decision just to, go straight to college and be away from family and not see the people that I love for a long amount of time. It was a real hard decision.
Did it become an easier decision when you found out that there wasn't going to be states, there wasn't going to be an opportunity, after sectional play, there wasn't going to be anything for the you didn't have a chance to win states if you had stayed?
Yeah, it did become a easier choice, because once I found out there's no states or anything, it really didn't make any sense for me to play, at all. I already had, what I needed. I already had the stats. I just already had what I needed, so I didn't want to risk getting hurt, not playing for states. It just didn't make sense to me. So I was just I'm just gonna go to college and enroll there early.
That coming here from Mike Washington Jr. So you make the decision to go over there and enroll early at Buffalo in the spring. How important was that for your maturation process to be able to get with the team and get with the offense in the spring as opposed to waiting until the fall?
Oh, it was very important. One reason is because I haven't played, since the time I enrolled there, I haven't played for a year. So getting back into the groove of things, that was really, really good for me, because, it was against college athletes. Everything was different. It wasn't high school anymore. So I had to get used to people being as fast as me, as strong as me. Even though I came in there strong and big for a freshman, I still had to get used to the contact hits that the college athletes bring. Everybody's just being an athlete.
What was the biggest thing you took away from spring ball in that transition from CNS to Buffalo?
Definitely being able to push through when times were hard. I didn't get to see my family. It was just hard. Like I had to get used to the college atmosphere with being on a college football team. Like it's like you're all for yourself. Like it's like nobody's gonna care about your emotions.
And for you, how did you work through that? I mean, you're away from your family, you're playing football, you're trying to prepare yourself, you're getting ready, like you said, you're talented, you come in, but everybody's talented on the team. So how did you handle coming in there and having to go up against all of that talent, as well as deal with a pandemic and be away from your family? How did you navigate through all that?
Well, to keep my mind settled, I stayed on top of meditation and prayer, and I also made sure I called my parents and family and friends. I made sure I called them at least every week, and if not, like every other week. I just made sure I kept in touch with them. I made sure I sent them practice highlights of me just doing things, because they haven't really seen me play football in a year. So like I just made sure I kept in touch with everybody.
And you said you had meditation and prayer. Just the importance of both of those things in your life, and if that's still a daily thing that you feel like you need to do.
Yeah, no, it's been really important in my life. Now it's not hard, but I still make time for it, but I don't really do it as much. Because I do stay on top of prayer, but meditation I do it probably every other day. But I feel like a lot of athletes, when it comes to playing a sport, any sport, I feel like what they think about is, the physical aspect, when the mental aspect of being an athlete is just as important. So yeah, meditation, I believe meditation, it'll keep things settled for you. You'll be balanced for sure.
And for you, I mean, prayer is a huge part of my life. Meditation, that's not something that I've done. I usually pray a lot. What can you say about how do you meditate? Like, what do you do? Like, bring me into paint a picture. Are you in the room, music by yourself? Like, what are you doing when you're saying you're meditating? How are you going about it? What's kind of your plan when you sit down and give yourself that time? Like, how do you meditate?
So I either meditate in the morning or at night. If it's in the morning, I try to do it right before I leave to go to practice. So that's probably around 6 o'clock, 6:30. And at night, just before I go to bed, or I make sure I do it on game days. I make sure I do it the night before a game. I make sure I meditate. But yeah, I try to find a quiet space, which is most likely my room. Turn off all the lights so it's dark, and I just feel to myself. I put my headphones in, and I turn on just different type of frequencies. I mainly use the athlete performance frequency. I believe that's what it's called. I just meditate like that. Close my eyes, make sure I'm breathing properly, and I just think all positive things. But before I do all that, I'll make sure I say a prayer and all that.
I come in here from Mike Washington Jr. from CNS to the University at Buffalo. Mike, for you, what I loved to see was that in the first ever game that you could play, in your first ever opportunity out there as a true freshman, you got on the field. And you got to play in Buffalo at home against Wagner. So I mean, it's painting the picture of all these really cool things. You're a true freshman. You play in the first ever game that you could play in. It's at home, and you get to carry the ball. You had double-digit carries, 13 for 65. You averaged 5 yards a carry, halfway to a first down on average. Bring me into all of this, because to me, this moment for you, being a true freshman, getting out there immediately, playing in front of the fans at Buffalo, and then on top of that, being involved in the offense, them trusting you as a true freshman, getting 13 carries and averaging 5 yards a carry, all of this is really, really awesome. So I'd love to get your thoughts on being the one that got to live that day.
Well, I know it's different, being a spectator and just seeing it on TV, but a lot of people, they don't really know what goes on behind the scenes. That took, the whole team, it took a lot of preparation. Like we go back to May when our coaches left. Coach Lipo, he took the coaching staff, the whole coaching staff to Kansas, and everybody they were like they didn't know what to do. A lot of people went to the transfer portal. Some came back on the team, some left, went to Kansas, and some went to other teams. But we ended up getting our coaching staff, and immediately, they changed everything about Buffalo and our culture immediately. Like and it's down to the little things, like having our bottles on the line, making sure we run off the field, making sure we run on the field, just little things. So I feel like a lot of people they don't see all of that. It took a lot of preparation just to prepare for that one game, and it's taking a lot of preparation to prepare for this upcoming game against Coastal.
Yeah, and like you said, your staff leaving and all shifting there. Did that affect you at all? Did you ever think about the portal? How committed were you to Buffalo? How did you handle it personally?
I thought about everything. I thought about leaving. I thought about staying. I didn't know what to do. I talked to my parents about it. They didn't really tell. They were supportive of whatever I wanted to do. And it was hard because I didn't know what I wanted to do at all. And then I just thought to myself, when I was little, I wanted to go to a D1 college, and I'm here now. I believe that God has brought me to Buffalo for a reason, and that was the reason. That's the reason I stayed. That's the main reason I stayed. And then, it was. I took a chance. I most definitely took a chance because I didn't know how the coaches were going to be. But like I said, I had faith, and why God put me here. And as soon as the coaches came on campus, as soon as I had that first workout with them, as soon as we hit the field together with that coaching staff, I knew this is the coaching staff that's gonna bring me to where I want to go in the future.
And what made you feel that? What made you feel that this staff is the staff that's going to get you where you want to go?
Well, starting off with my position coach, Coach Mike Daniels. This has been the first coach ever that has ever taught me about, the science of being a running back, like knowing everything. This is only my second year playing running back, so I don't really know the ins and out of being a running back, but he broke everything down. He broke everything down to me. He broke everything about the offense and the defense. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to preparation and preparing for a game. Like, he makes sure he knows, defense, when the blitz is coming, when they're not coming, when they're hurting, get out, pass protection, how to read a block, certain gaps to hit when inside zone. Like, he broke everything. Like, he broke everything down to me.
And for you, Mike Daniels, he's the recruiting coordinator and the running backs coach. What do you like about him? And it's kind of twofold here. What do you like about him the most as a person, not just a coach? And then secondly, you just made mention, you said this is only the second year that you've played running back. I mean, just what that's like, having this coach, what he means to you personally, and then this being your second year, because if people look at you and they watch you and they see your body type and the way that you are, they would think you've been playing running back for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing about Coach Daniels is he's going to keep it real with you regardless. And, that's hard. It's hard. Like, if you can't take criticism, it's hard. It's hard with dealing with somebody who's going to keep it real with you. Because, especially for people who their whole life, people just been like yes men to them, do whatever you want. He's somebody who's not like that. He'll keep it real with you. When you're doing wrong, he'll tell you what you're doing right. When you do it right, he'll catch you on your back. Yeah.
And for you, I mean, this being your second year playing running back, just what you can say about how you feel you've matured and how you've grown.
I honestly feel like I still have a lot of growth to do, and I'm not where I want to be at all. Yeah, I feel as though I have a lot of growth to do in the position.
And then lastly, Coastal Carolina is coming up here, ranked in the top 16 in the nation. What are you excited about this game? What can you tell me about this matchup? Because the nation's going to be watching. It's on ESPN. It's at noon Eastern time. Just what you're looking forward to.
Well, we all know it's going to be a dogfight. The coach has been harping on that for the past week. Like, this game is going to be a dogfight. I believe they're ranked 17 in the nation or in the country or something like that. You know, the rankings don't really matter. You know, we're looking past that. You know, all we're looking at is, you know, like I said earlier, the preparation throughout the week. We believe that our preparation is going to win us the game.
That coming from Mike Washington Jr. from CNS to your Buffalo Bulls. Mike, as always, I appreciate it so very much. I look forward to seeing you out there more this season, and keep repping Central and Upstate New York and your family well. You know, I'm proud of you, and I'm hoping nothing but great things for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That coming here from Mike Washington Jr. once again on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, honoring him as our top dog of the week. Coming from Central New York, CNS, to the Buffalo Bulls. And starting out his first ever season in college football as a true freshman, playing in the first game that he could have possibly played in, getting on the field and averaging 5 yards a carry. Shout out to you, Mike, for everything that you've done to work to get to where you are today. We appreciate it here in the community, appreciate it at CNS and Utica, I'm sure, and obviously appreciate you there with the Buffalo Bulls. Thank you, God bless you, and shout out to you for being our top dog of this week. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. Final step aside of the show. When we come back, we'll shoot right to the video. Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, and YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. When these wonderful women of the world of sports join me to talk about topics that are truly, truly pertinent to, I would think, darn near everybody in the world. Sports and life meet each other in a huge way with Amy Sakaitis, Emily O'Donnell, Caitlin Hodge Mahalis, and Bridget Walsh right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com.
Cafe Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecabal.com. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA. That's 315-450-6272 for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpassnacks.com. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Here at Progressive Dental, we understand the importance of regular dental visits and preventive care. Cleanings and checkups are essential to good oral health. We have multiple locations in the Southern Tier, so come visit us in Binghamton, Enwell, Kirkwood, Montrose, and Norwich. For self-pay non-insured patients, we offer the Smile Plan, which covers all of your cleanings, x-rays, and exams for an affordable yearly price. Call 607-754-2273 or 607-754-CARE to make an appointment today. For more information, visit our website at progressivedentalny.com.
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way out to the Millhouse Market by going to 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, and downloading their app on the Google Play or Apple App Store today. You'll have everything at your fingertips, from their homemade breads and desserts to quinoa bowls, rice bowls, as well as their salads, brick oven pizzas, and sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. The only problem that you will have is the same one that I have, which is trying to figure out what I'm going to order between the 3 pizzas that I like or the 5 sandwiches and whatever it may be. The Millhouse Market is incredibly great at all that they do, and that's a shout out to Rebecca Alfred and the team. From their cookies to the bee sting pizza to the meatball sandwich, there are so many. I usually get something for then and for like in that moment and then to bring home as well. The Millhouse Market open for you Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And when I say open, their general store, their indoor dining, and their drive-up, drive-through window. You don't have to leave the car, grab your food, and go with contactless pay on the app in the drive-through window. You could do that for yourself as well, so make sure you do that today. And thank you so much for all that you bring to the Millhouse Market. And they appreciate it, and they try to bring it all back to you. Remember, every single weekend, their bistro menu changes inside, so you can go there this weekend to find out what new things they have on the menu for this weekend only. Check that out. And we appreciate it as always. Millhouse Market, 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. Worth the drive every time. We will end the conversation here on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt and ask you all to shift to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt as well as wakeupcalldt. Facebook.com/wakeupcalldt for what's to come here. Healthy, happiness, and sports. Health, happiness, and sports coming up for you right now with Amy Sakaitis as well as Caitlin Hodge-Mahalis, Emily O'Donnell, and Bridget Walsh. Welcome back here. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. You're also here with us on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on facebook.com/live now DT. You could see in our beautiful Zoom room here, we are joined by these wonderful women around the country that were here with me during the pandemic. And about 18 months in now, they're back here with me again. We have Amy Sakaitis, who since being on the show has accepted the head coaching job for women's basketball at Columbia Basin College and has headed off to the West Coast. We have Caitlin Hodge-Mahalis, also known as simply Hodge, for King's College women's basketball, the head coach there. We have Bridget Walsh, King's College intern for sports information. And we have Emily O'Donnell here with us, the assistant coach at the Coast Guard Academy for women's basketball. Ladies, welcome back to Wake Up Call.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So we got a lot of things to get in today. One of the things we'll be jumping into is mental health in sports, which I think is a huge topic of discussion. We've seen it come up in the Olympics, and obviously mental health over the last 18 months has been very much front and center. I think everyone has been shaken to discover what their core is. And once they've discovered kind of who they are in these last 18 months, how we've responded, which I think is incredibly important in and out of the sports world. We'll talk about the 18 months of going through this pandemic, and we'll also get into name, image, and likeness and some other fun things, including putting each other on the hot seat once again as we do rapid fire. So, Emily, since I know that you have no nerves when it comes to this, I'm going to go to you first. And so for Emily, your take here on these last 18 months and what you've learned about yourself and maybe what you've learned about your surroundings in this time period that we've had that's been very unique in the world.
I think something that I've learned about myself is I can spend a lot of time alone and I'm okay, which I know it sounds a little silly there, but for someone who's did a lot of things in college and in previous jobs around a lot of other people, taking a step back and being by myself was always a little more difficult, but kind of being forced to, I was able to work through that and spend more time by myself and make it productive time, as well as with my roommate and getting stuff done around the house, but getting outside and doing those kinds of things. Something that I found is at work, especially, a lot of people have a lot of the same struggles. And with this, like through the 18 months that we've all experienced this, we are more vocal about those, whereas in the past, that may not have been the case. You kind of just deal with your own stuff and go with it, at least what I've seen. And now with a focus on everything that's going on around us, a lot of people are talking about that and how it affects them, and even without the pandemic, what affects their daily lives, and just are more vocal in that aspect.
Yeah, I think people have become more comfortable saying that they're uncomfortable. And I think what, as I'm here in my 30s, what I've realized about life is when I was going to school and I was in high school and grammar school and all that, it wasn't okay to, especially as a man, it was definitely not okay to not be okay. We always had to be strong. We couldn't have any type of mental issue with something. We couldn't be bogged down by something. We couldn't be stressed out. And I grew up, kind of with people around me where it was normal to take all these credits. And I mean, Hodge and I, obviously both went to Marywood, and we could talk about, you get used to doing all these things. You had, sports as well as going to class. I was going to class, running the TV station, doing this, that, and the other. And people just have that expectation of, well, you're supposed to be at 100%. You're supposed to be on it in everything at every time. You get an email at 3 o'clock in the morning. You're supposed to answer it at 3:01. And that was normal life. And now people are saying, hey, you know what? I want to take a nap in the middle of the day. I want to walk my dog. I want to call my mom. I want to see how my friends are doing. I'm gonna have a glass of wine and sit back. And now it's starting to become okay, where growing up, all I heard was work, work, work. So Hodge, I'll go with you on this, since I brought up, you and I both going to Marywood. What can you say about how this world has evolved, where it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to say, hey, you know what? There's not 27 hours in this day. There's 24, and I'm going to have to sleep for a few of them.
Yeah, I think the word or theme of the year is boundaries. I think people have been more comfortable vocalizing them and more comfortable sticking to them because more people understand they're necessary. I guess, at least me personally, that's something that I've taken away from this whole pandemic is, like you said, if you get an email, you feel like, all right, it's in my hand. I have to answer it. I have to do this. I have to do that. I've gotten more comfortable of, I don't have to do that. That's not how it works. I can still be more productive in smaller windows, as well as keep my boundary of, no, I don't need to do that. I don't have to do that for other people. So I agree. It's something that I don't think I was ready to learn that when I was in college, like you were talking about. I had to be busy. I had to be running around. I had to be doing stuff all the time. And then even as early as 19 months ago, and then 18 months ago happened. And now I'm like, you know what? Boundaries are cool. I'm in.
Yeah. And Amy, I want to go to you on this too, coming off of that. As Hodge talked about, creating boundaries and saying, you know what, I'm going to wait to do this, or, I'm going to tackle these few things and then I'll get to this. The fact that we are hopefully, after these 18 months, we are starting to speak up for ourselves and saying, you know what, I'm going to get to this, but I'm going to do this first, or I'm going to sit down and I'm going to have dinner with I remember vividly when I worked for a company that my gut kind of told me not to do, and I did it anyways. I worked for this company for a year, and I remember there was a dinner at one of our favorite pizza places, and my grandmother was sitting next to me. My cousins were in town. My parents were there, big long table in the middle of a room, and I was on the internet eating a slice of pizza in the middle of a restaurant with one hand and typing on my laptop in the other, because I was afraid that if I didn't get this story up on time, I was going to get yelled at or get in trouble, or I was going to let somebody down. And I swore to myself that day, I'll never do this again. Have you had the days of the laptop and the pizza? And where are your boundaries now?
Oh, you mean on Christmas morning when you're prepping the scout for December 27th? Yeah. I think we've all had that day. It's different. I think that kind of like what Emily and Hodge both said, the pandemic taught me boundaries that I probably already knew existed, but wasn't either confident enough or willing enough to stand up for them. I think to Emily's point of asking, checking in on people, we used to always go, hey, how you doing? Now we're like, hey, Are you doing okay? Like we really check in on each other because we know everyone's going through some different tough version of this, whether you're home by yourself, whether you're home with a significant other, whether you're home with a whole family. There's different levels of challenges. And so I think for me, in terms of just finding my boundaries and what matters to me about it is, like I don't need to answer that email at 10:30 at night. I started to maneuver towards this a little bit before. About 2 years ago, I implemented a rule with my team that if it could be an email that I could deal with tomorrow, don't text me more than an hour after the end of practice on an evening. Because otherwise they'll text you at 11:30 because they're up at 11:30 and then I feel like I have to respond because my player's asking me for something. And so they were pretty good about it. Some had to not get answered for them to realize that was a thing. But it's boundaries and it's balance. I think balance is kind of the other part that we are diving into here is what is your happy? It cannot just be your job. I really hope for no one listening to this that it's just your job. And how do you balance those two things? Yes, you want to be great in your career and be successful, but is watching that extra hour of film on Christmas morning really going to make a difference on whether or not we win on December 27th? Probably not, and so knowing those things and finding your balance, spending more time with the people you care about.
Yeah, I think it's imperative to, like you said, find balance. And Bridget, working in sports information, I don't have to tell you that in your world, you are asked to do 752 things. You're bringing somebody around campus while you're answering an email, then you're answering, a text message of somebody, and then this coach asked you this, and then this athletic director wanted to know where this was going to go, and then this parent's on, and this person got lost, and then you're walking through, and you finally get a minute to yourself to have a coffee, and somebody pulls up and says, do you know where the cafeteria is? So it's just the reality of sports information that by definition, you're supposed to know everything all the time, and you're supposed to be a robot. How do you find balance in a world that thinks you're an encyclopedia and forgets that maybe you want to go take a walk? Maybe you want to go on vacation. Maybe you want to go an hour without answering an email.
Wow, you literally just described my day in a nutshell. Literally doing everything, getting asked by 20 different coaches something. So definitely still learning that balance and finding that time to kind of just prioritize myself. I think a huge part of this pandemic was, falling in love with being fit and like having an outlet outside of like work. Yeah, I always played basketball and sports growing up. Yeah, we would have like noon hoops at Kings, but once that shut down, what was I doing to kind of find that release? So, riding my bike or going for walks. I think just that and making sure that's a priority in my life, no matter how busy I am or how tired I might be or what else is going on. I think that just, an hour a day for myself to kind of sit there with my thoughts and just be at peace and be by myself. I think that's a huge part of what I've learned specifically during this pandemic. And just like you said, like not answering those emails at 10:30. The coach will survive if I don't respond to his email at 10:30 or at 7:30 a.m. Like some people choose, there's always the two polar opposites, but definitely the balance we're learning, we're trying to get there. But definitely prioritizing myself is something that has definitely come out of the past 18 months.
You say prioritizing myself. I think everybody on this screen, knowing the personalities, and I know that I've spent obviously a lot of time with Hodge over the years, but I feel like in getting to know you all and understanding our world that we all live in some respect, like you said, Bridget, I mean, I don't see in your day-to-day, but you said I just described it. There's finding that prioritizing of you. I think we can all say on this screen that when we've set our priorities, never in that list have we put our own name. We always put, I have to send this email, I have to go to this practice, I have to call this person, I have to set up this meeting, I have to make sure that this is here and this is there, and I got to make sure I plan this out. If I made a priorities list right now and I said, this is what I want to do this week, almost never did I put take a nap, walk the dog, watch your favorite TV show. So Bridget, I'm going to stay with you on this. How have you prioritized yourself? And as we try to get back in some semblance of normalcy, what have you done to make sure that you're still on your own list?
Definitely. I think it starts with who I choose to surround myself with. I think that's been a huge part of what I've been doing a lot lately. I mean, as great it is to catch up with, your best friends from high school or go visit somebody an hour away, I think surrounding myself with people that are, here in this moment that are going to make me happy and make me feel good about where I'm at in my life. I think that's a huge part of what we're doing too, Yes, texts are easy, but putting myself in situations that I don't feel stressed out by having to meet up with somebody or just feeling overwhelmed because I have work and I'm trying to fill those social obligations. I think that's a huge part of prioritizing myself. And then, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, finding that time in every day, well, not every day, your body needs a break, but finding that time for, working out or just like sitting down and vegging out on the couch and watching an hour's worth of Netflix. If that's your hour and that's what you want to do with it, then that's what you're going to do to calm down, kind of rejuvenate and just kind of go from there.
Haj, I'm going to go to you on how you prioritize yourself, but I'm going to ask you a second question of how many times have you been the coach that's texted Bridget at 10:30 at night?
If I text Bridget at 10:30 at night, it's to see if she wants pizza or something that I've seen that she would find enjoyable. I will not text her unless it's something absurd. I don't think I've done it, hopefully.
No, definitely not.
Okay. I'm not on that list.
Yeah.
But yeah, for myself, I think I've done a better job, kind of like what Bridget said about surrounding myself with like-minded people. Like people who aren't going to get mad when I set a boundary, people who are going to pick up the phone when it's a genuine, hey, I just need to talk to someone kind of gig. So I think just surrounding yourself, and then I'm with Bridget too on I've done a better job of putting my health in more of a better place by either lifting or going for runs or getting outside. Like I need to be outside. I'm a seasonal depression type person. Like I cannot, in a gym, you get a little bit of the Vegas effect. It's not like when I was playing outdoor sports and you got to see the sun. It just doesn't happen sometimes, especially with recruiting. So, I mean, Emily and Amy can attest to it. We always try to find something outside. I mean, Emily and I went like over the summer recruiting after getting out of the gym. We were just walking downtown just to go find something and get outside, even when it's raining. So I think it's something that's important is get yourself out and then get yourself around people who will respect your boundaries and you will respect theirs and encourage them.
I'm going to stay with you on this, Haj. We've talked about it for the last few minutes here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, joined by Amy Sakaitis, as well as Bridget Walsh, Emily O'Donnell, and Caitlin Haj Mahalis, also known as Haj. So to stay with you, Haj, on this, when we look at these boundaries, how did you start to put your boundaries together? How long, within kind of the evolution of this, how long did it take to build your boundaries, and what did you have to do to kind of make sure that they stuck? Because you've all addressed really the fact that we need them, but not only is it hard to build them, it's extremely hard to keep them. So I'd love to hear how you address that in your life.
Sure. I think something that I've always thought about from like a basketball and a coaching standpoint was the saying of, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. And I realized I was always getting stressed and I was always getting anxious about just, all right, I have to do this, this, and this for everybody else and do all of this other stuff, whatever, X, Y, and Z. So I think what I realized over the pandemic is it's okay to not give people instant access to me. It's okay to turn off my phone. So it started like by going for my walks. I would turn it on Do Not Disturb. I would throw on either a book or a podcast or music or whatever, and I would just go. And the rule was I can't look at my phone. So I started doing that at the beginning of the pandemic when I had to get out, and I still do it now. So if I'm on my walk or on my run, like I'm not talking to anybody. And then that kind of leads into, oh, like I can do this. Then you pick something bigger. And it might be, like Bridget said, turning down and feeling like I don't want to go to this event and I don't feel obligated to show my face. So I think in the social situations being like, you know what, I just don't feel like that. Why am I going to go and do that type thing? So I think it starts with those little steps and finding something that is a little more manageable. And then I think it leads naturally into other things. Because I think the other thing that I've done a much better job of is not beating myself up for those things. As an athlete, I was always so hard on myself, and it's always the negative self-talk, and it's always beating yourself up about, oh, well, that was crap, you're terrible. Like, why did you do that? That was dumb. So I made it another very, very conscious effort of, yeah, I'm going to set boundaries, but I'm not going to give myself the digs that I would in the past. It's not the, oh, you're a bad friend. It's the, I need a break. This is the right choice. And this is what I'm doing. And if they're my friends, great. And then if they decide not to stick with it, I'm okay with it because I now have prioritized myself like you guys are talking about. But I think the whole setting the tiny attainable goals, it leads into the other ones. And then the positive self-talk is something that's honestly helped me a ton this whole year.
You know, and I think that that's extremely imperative and huge. And Amy, to go to you, positive self-talk. You know, we start treating ourselves and accepting the treatment from others of what we say to ourselves. If we say that we're a terrible person, if we say we don't deserve something, if we say we're not worth it, if we say we're not attractive or we're not funny or we're not successful or we're not smart or we're not this or that, that you start to believe, you become your thoughts. So how important has it been for you to rule your thoughts instead of your thoughts ruling you?
Oh God, it's challenging every day. I don't think that ever goes away. I think you're always kind of fighting that battle. It comes down to a few things. It comes down to, you know, we were talking about fitness a little bit earlier and like wanting to get in better health and stuff. And that all comes with boundaries and balance too, right? I am not going to give up my glass of wine to lose 5 pounds. Like that is not an equitable choice to me. I enjoy my glass of wine. It's a social thing. It's the social thing I enjoy to do with my friends. And like that is a boundary I'm not willing to cross. Will I eat a little healthier? Sure. Maybe I can eat healthier. Cook in more versus cooking out. So I think that I like to try to not look at everything as, oh, you aren't doing this and you should be doing that, but more as, oh, but, which is kind of a little bit counterintuitive because it means there is something that I probably deep down think I did wrong. I just try to ignore that little voice, just like send it away as best I can. But I think in general, if I'm being active and like, not just in a physical appearance way, like if I'm active, I feel better. You know, I feel more aware in my, you know, conversations with either coworkers or administrators or whoever it is with my players. I just feel, you know, like I can be in a space and be comfortable and be confident and not be as stressed. I will admit this is the least stressed I have been in my professional career in the last 3 months. So sorry, Emily, that you had a long day, but it's just a different vibe and things. And so I've enjoyed it. But I'm also, you know, the whole unplugging thing, like Tahad just pointing to Bridget's as well. First of all, I am so happy we can go places again. I just want all the other people not to go there. Like, I just want to go there with my friends and like not all the other people. I miss going to the grocery store and people not bumping into me. Like that was fantastic. But we should all feel okay saying no. And I do think that's something that we probably learned more than anything in this pandemic is like, no, I don't want to go out tonight. I don't want to do that. And being okay and being comfortable with that.
Yeah, I actually just jokingly said this to my friend. I said, you know, I think when Thanos snapped and Iron Man snapped back everybody, I think there's a few people they probably could have left out of the grocery store and, you know, the normal places, the restaurants, my neighborhood. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy to me, like you said, that, you know, now that you can go out again, you're like, well, why are these people out? You know, this should just be for me and my time. Because I think what we've realized, those of us that took this time and, you know, made it positive, is these last 18 months have shown us better, more proper self-care, consistent self-care. And so, Emily, I go to you on this. How are you consistently trying to take care of yourself? And what is of great importance to you as you prioritize your life? Because we are supposed to take something from these last 18 months. I believe there's something bigger and better than all of us that wanted us to learn something. So what did you learn and what are you doing to take care of yourself now?
I think starting with taking care of myself, just like these people have said, I've done a better job of being aware of when I need to say no, which is something I've always struggled with, and I still struggle with it, not past that at all, but I'm more aware of it now. Like, going back to someone asking me to do something and my immediate response is, yeah, sure, how can I help? Where now I'm more aware, okay, let me take time to think about this and I'll get back to you and let you know, instead of jumping to someone else's aid right away or putting myself in a situation that when I have to go do that later, I'm like, oh crap, I really don't want to do that. But I also can't back down and say no to like other things. So that's like something that I've learned and made myself more aware of, that I'm still continually working on. With the pandemic and everything though, it's something that's in the forefront of my mind because I've seen, hey, it's a pandemic out there, sorry, I can't go. You know, that kind of stuff, where in the past I'm like, oh, I got to go put on real clothes and go out with people that I'd rather not. So it's not that, it's with that, it's with work, it's with extracurriculars, all that kind of stuff that I normally put myself into. I'm made myself more aware of how to say no, and then getting to the stage where I can do it without those negative thoughts after, like Hodge said, feeling like guilty or anything like that. And something else that I learned along those same lines, and Hodge and I talked about this on the road this summer, stretching ourselves too thin and being productive in different ways. So we were talking about jumping from one event to another, and where are we going to be the most productive? And we shouldn't feel guilty not doing something where we're not going to get the most out of that, and it's not best for us or our situation. And we don't feel guilty taking that step back and, hey, instead of going sprinting here to watch this, and this, I'm going to go get a coffee, and then I'm going to be on my better game for these next 2 or 3 or 4 kids I need to watch. So taking that time for myself to better myself for others, because that's, again, something that I'm trying to work on within myself, but making myself better by taking that time for myself and getting a coffee or taking a day off from work. Like, hey, I have leave saved. I'm going to take a day off and go to the beach because we don't have any meetings this day and I have the time saved. In the past, I'm just going to go to work and look out the window and be like, wow, it's really nice out. I should be at the beach. But this summer especially, I've done that and taken a 4-day week here and there just to not be at work. And again, I love my job, but I love the beach too. So that's kind of where my head's at on that.
Well, and you said it, saying no. We've been conditioned that if you're a nice person, you don't say no. But if you're a healthy person, sometimes you have to say no. Sometimes I have to say, and you just brought it up, I am guilty of being late to everything because I do everything in a row. So if I have a 12:30 to the 1:31, and then I got to be somewhere at 1:30, I have no time to get there. Then my 2 o'clock, then my 3 o'clock, then my 4, because I'm trying to fit it all in because I want to say yes and I want to do it all. Well, how can you have a 1:30 meeting that's 20 minutes from your 2:30 meeting and have the meeting go 40 minutes long? You're going to maybe just get there on time. And I found myself driving in the car, and I don't know if anybody on the screen has done this, but I found myself driving in the car almost feeling like I'm hyperventilating. I feel like I can't catch my breath. I almost feel like I feel tired. I feel shortness of breath. And it's stressful because it's not that I'm out of shape, and that's the comedy is I'm in the best shape of my life, yet I'm stressed. And when I'm stressed, I feel like I can't function. I can't breathe. Have you been there, Emily, where you're going from one thing to another, and you almost have that moment of, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm underwater right now?
Yeah, that's definitely hit me. And again, it's been in the car going from one thing to another, or it's on my way huffing and puffing in my mask going to a different meeting that I scheduled for myself back to back with something else. And you get up to the top of the stairs and you're out of breath from the stairs and you're just trying to make it look like you're not in the worst shape of your life. So Amy, stop laughing at me. So it's that, but in the car moments, where I sit and I space out because it's the extent of, I'm not necessarily hyperventilating, but I'm so drained that all of a sudden I'm where I was and not sure how I got there because I was so spaced out and on autopilot. And I feel like that's something that after a long day of work happens to everyone once in a while, but when you're constantly going and rushing from one thing to another, you're not thinking about where you're walking to. You're kind of just zoned and you're just doing it because you're on autopilot. And that's something that can really bog you down when we're overscheduling ourselves and not taking that coffee break and not taking that 20 minutes to just sit and scroll and do nothing. And that's something that, just like you said, Dan, I also need to get better at, and not overbooking and the saying no. So I wouldn't say for me it's necessarily like the getting worked up. It's the zoning and going on autopilot and then not feeling like I'm in the moment and living. I'm just kind of being.
Yeah, I can understand, like you talk about autopilot. My response is usually to, get like anxious. And I would say, I'm like, why am I getting so like physically worked up when I'm just sitting in the car? But it's because there's no, if we're all phones, we all know at night, what do we have to do? Especially if you have an iPhone, because they kill your battery on purpose. But you take your phone and you do what with it? You plug it in. Yeah. Because you have to charge it for the next day. But how many times have we forgotten to plug ourselves in? We never recharge, but we recharge our phones and we recharge our tablets and we recharge our laptops and all that. We recharge our cameras, but we don't recharge ourselves. And so I've found that what this pandemic has taught me is if I'm in the car and my stomach hurts or my chest hurts or I have shortness of breath, then I'm not tackling my day well. I need to pull off. I need to take a deep breath. And I need to figure out, what am I going to do for myself right now in this moment? Is it a cup of coffee? Is it a text to Hodge about the 9 cereals I just mixed together? What am I going to do today to do something good for myself? And you can never put that off. So Bridget, I go back to you because we're talking about mental health. So let's go a little bit deeper into it. We've seen in sports that when somebody comes out in public and says, hey, I just need a break. I've trained, I've practiced, I've competed since I was 2 months old out of my mom's womb, basically. I just need 5 minutes. And because we live in a social media world that was supposed to bring people together, but sometimes it divides us, people have an opinion. When you say, I just need some mental health, I just need a moment. As a business owner, I used to freak out because I'd go to the movies during the day and I would think, oh my God, if somebody sees me at the movie at 2:30, they're going to take a picture and say like, I'm not working hard enough and I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. I'm going, I deserve to go to the movie. And if they're here taking a picture of me, that means they're at the movie too. So mental health, how important is it? And then secondly, Bridget, do people really deserve to have an opinion, or should we even ask for their opinion when we want to take a break?
No, definitely. I think, like we had mentioned earlier before we started recording, like the Olympics was a huge example of, people coming out and being like, well, I need a break. Like my whole life has been dedicated to this sport and like being great at it. I just need to breathe. Like I've been going through so much, like my life has been hectic. We've survived the global pandemic. There's all these factors going into it. And you're like, no, I just need to take a step back, kind of refocus so that I can get better. I can be the best version of myself moving forward. And I think coupling into your second question, I think some generations just don't understand that. I mean, I'm living with my 2 50-year-old parents and I am constantly having to explain why certain people like need that mental health break. Why at the peak of their career, maybe do they think they need a break? Well, because you're not in their shoes. You don't know what they go through every day. So I think, yes, it's something to talk about. And I love that this communication line has been open, that people are able to freely talk about it, whether it be on social media or in small groups or on Zoom calls like this. But I think that it's important to talk about it, but only to an extent. You can have an opinion, but it's also not your right. You don't have like a right to go out there and trash somebody's life and their career and their livelihood because you think they should be out there competing. So I think there definitely needs to be a bigger balance out there in regards to mental health communication.
We treat athletes and coaches in media and really any entertainer, actors, actresses, singers, we treat them like robots. Everybody wanted Kanye's album to come out 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago. Why is he not doing it? Didn't he just break up with Kim? Well, now he's got the time. What's he working on? So, we have almost been conditioned, because everything in life is right there, that, like I said, I worked for a company that was like, why aren't you releasing stories every hour? My grandmother died, and they're like, hey, I know you've had a tough month, but you haven't really been writing a lot. Can you kind of just get over this already? And so, and I couldn't express to them why for an entire month I just didn't want to sit down and write anything. I wanted to grieve. I wanted to feel. My grandmother was a lot of things. She was a very stressed person, very depressed person. I wanted to find peace with her. I wanted to miss her. I wanted to move forward. So, Bridget, I'm going to stay with you. Like you said, we can talk about it, but people really don't deserve to have an opinion about our lives and what we do. What are you doing in your life to, as we kind of go back to boundaries, saying, you know what? I'm going to ask you what you think. You might be a part of my cabinet, but I'm the president of my life. I'm going to make this decision. So whether you like it or not, I'm going to go get a coffee. I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to go to my room, shut the door, and listen to music for 2 hours. And I don't want to be bothered. How are you bringing that into your life, saying, you know what? I don't care what the other opinions are, because I think in today's world, especially with social media, whether we say we care or we don't, everybody's got an opinion about everybody. So how do you address that?
Definitely. I'm definitely that kind of person that, I have my, a couple of people that I rely heavily on to kind of get their inputs, their perspectives, their opinions. But at the end of the day, it's my mental health, not theirs. So I think I'm the kind of person that likes hearing other people's thoughts and opinions on the situation. But, I have to do what's best for me. So if, like you said, go get that coffee, stay in this area, because that's where your comfort's at. That's where you feel safe and you feel good about yourself and feel good about what you're doing. I think that's so important continuing forward. We set out every day to be our best selves. And the only way to do that is to make sure that you surround yourself with the people that you care most about, but also that, are going to, be supportive. And I think that support group is so important to our mental health and prioritizing ourselves. And yes, they might know a lot about you, but at the end of the day, you got to feel comfortable in your own skin. You have to put yourself in positions where you're going to succeed and you're going to be your best self. So I think that's a huge part of this conversation that we're having right now.
Can you let go of those people outside of your circle that have an opinion?
I mean, it's tough. Like you said, it's the social media era where we all thought this was going to be positive and it's going to bring us all together, but you can't not hear those voices sometimes. It's so hard to tune them out. So yes, you do hear them, but then at the end of the day, you have to remember, they don't know all that, you know about yourself, what your close circle of people know, your family, your friends know about you. So while you can hear them too and understand where they're coming from, they aren't in your shoes every day. So I try to block them out as much as you can.
Hodge, how do you block them out? You played, so you know that whether people know you, most of the time they didn't know you at all. They didn't even know how to say your last name, let alone say anything about you. But when you're shooting free throws and you can beat their team, they're hurling all types of insults at you. That was on the court. Well, the court of life in social media, the game's never over. How do you shut out the noise when everybody's got an opinion about your life?
I think when it comes to social media, just literally don't look at it. Don't go looking for something you don't want. If you're tired of hearing people say things about whatever, if it's coaching personal, even if it's just now with the way that everything has to be polarized, it's always this versus that and whatever. Don't look at it. Why are you going to other people to figure out what you need to? And I think when it gets more so into your personal life and everything, I think people got to realize there's a difference between a social circle and your inner circle. I think you can have a ton of people in your social circle, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're entitled to what you're doing, what moves you're making, how you're doing it. So if you don't want people's negative opinions, don't ask. I think that's something that I've gotten a little more comfortable with. And I think it comes with the boundary side of things, knowing that it's okay to physically block those people out. Don't go looking for it. Don't be around them. Take a break, walk away from it. I think even then, you translate it to a workplace, I've always been not just like work, just life, the golden rule. Like I was little, you see that video when you're in like 5 and it's like treat people how you want to be treated. I live by that. So if somebody comes in and they start complaining, it's the, hey, are you venting or do you want a solution? But if it goes down a road you don't want it to, be like, no, that's not what we're doing. I think making a more conscious effort now, because again, more people want the electric battle of this versus that, and this is wrong and this has to be right and why can't you? Most people, when they do that, just want to be heard. So if you can just ask them, all right, well, why do you think that? Half the time they don't have an answer that actually backs it up. So they'll be like, okay, well then why are you thinking this? Like, have you thought about this? So I think when it comes to more specifically, like when it's physically in your face and you're hearing all of that nonsense, I ask questions. Okay, cool. Why do you think that? All right, well, have you thought about it from this perspective?
Yeah.
I think there was one professor, I think I shared this one time prior with you on one of our previous interviews. I had a professor at Marywood. She was an English professor. I don't remember her name at this point. She was in my junior, sophomore year. And she was talking about how she gets through like road rage or gets through like a crap day. And she's like, I just imagine that person is having the worst day of their life. Yeah. And you would never know. So if you're wondering why that person cut you off, maybe because they're zoned out, like Emily's saying, because they just had the worst day and a loved one just passed away. And then why would I pile on by beeping at them, cussing at them, doing whatever it is? Same thing like coaching, like maybe a player is late. I had this happen. A player came to camp late and I was just like, yo, you can't be late. You're in charge. I'm paying you. But I don't flip out. I make sure when she has a minute, when she's by herself, I go up and ask her, I'm like, hey, what was with that this morning? And then you find out everything else that's going on personally. And it's like, all right, cool. I'm glad I didn't just unload on you for no reason, because there was a reason. There's a legitimate, people are going through things they don't talk about. So assume the worst and then go from there.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge point that you bring up is you don't know. And you also said about other people's opinions, like don't go looking for it. One of the things I've been living with, very much top of mind, really telling myself every day, is other people's opinions of me are none of my business. And I think that's hard for us to take in, because in the world that we are in, this is sports and entertainment industry, right? So we're told to, put a good team together, put a good show together, sell tickets, get people to listen. It's quantity. But all of us on this screen are about quality. So how do you live in a world that wants results in quantity and still keep quality at the top above quantity? How do you do that, Haj?
I mean, I trust my gut. It's like when you're coaching and you hear people saying, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. I know that I'm in practice. I know that I see what I see. I know what my values are. So that's what I'm going to do. So I think it's more of the trusting myself, and goes back into everything we're saying about saying no. Like, all right, someone's going to always have an opinion about everything, down to like little minuscule things of like, why did you run this play and not this play? Why did you have this person take the last shot and not this person? But I think it even comes down to, all right, well, why do you have who you have in your program? Be like, it's what I believe that is right. And my assistant, Alan Yenjai, we call him, he has a saying that we've taken pretty to heart with our coaching staff, and it's do right and fear nothing. That's all you can do. It's right. And if you're willing to sink on that ship, then sink on that ship. I think I've made peace with that I know it's right. I'm going to trust my gut. If somebody doesn't, I can live with that. I can't live with the other second guessing and the extra nonsense. I can't do it anymore.
Amy, we just hear Hodge say this, and it's the reality of, she just said, I can't deal with the second guessing. There's always going to be someone that has a problem with how you live your life. And I don't know if anybody on this screen has seen the TV show New Girl, but it's one of my favorite shows. And I'll never forget Winston, who, when Schmidt says to him, because he's got the tank top on and it says something like, I just want to dance or whatever. And he's like, oh, I gotta go down to the precinct. I gotta go to the police station before I go to my dance class. And he said, you can't go down there like that. They're going to make fun of you. And it's actually on my phone. And Winston said, when are you going to stop caring about what people think? He said, if I look into my comment box of everybody telling me how to live my life, it is full. It is full with people trying to tell me how to live my life. But there's only one comment card I read, and it says, good job, keep it up. And you know who wrote it? me. And you know how I know that? Because I recognize my own handwriting. So going off of that, what can you say to something like that?
God, that's a lot to unpack. No, but in general, you get to decide, like, you're the ambassador of your own life, and you get to decide who you're going to listen to and who you're not going to listen to. And yes, we all work in a relatively public setting, in various degrees. And then people in our professions, obviously, and, take beatings on Twitter on the regular. And the only people that know are the people inside your foxhole. And so if they're not in the foxhole, who cares what they think? And and easier said than done, obviously. Some of those things can hurt. Some of those things can hurt more when they come from people you ostensibly trusted or believed understood what you guys, what you're doing with your program or with your podcast or whatever it is, right? Where people are, come at you in a way that you're not expecting. That being said, like Hodge said, do what's right and fear nothing. Like, there are just certain hills I am willing to die on, and that's how it is. And if that, cost me a job one day, then it cost me a job. But I'm just going to do the right thing and hope that it all works out.
Yeah, and there's something, it's actually right outside of my studio, and it has Peggy Carter on it from she was the love interest of Captain America in Marvel. And I have a lot of respect for her and what it said. And she said this statement, it's compromise where you can, but where you can't, don't. Even if everyone is telling you that something wrong is something right, even if the whole world is telling you to move, it is your duty to plant yourself like a tree, to look them in the eye and say, no, you move. You just said there's some hills that you're willing to die on. That quote to me is exactly what I thought when you said that, is compromise where you can, and where you can't, don't. And even if somebody's telling you something wrong is something right, even if the whole world is telling you you are wrong, it's your duty to stand like a tree. And when they tell you to get out of the way, you say, no, get out of my way. Your thoughts?
It's a quote. This came from a coach at the Final Four a few years ago, and they said it was I might mess it up, but I think it was something like loyalty above all, except integrity. And it was basically like, whether it's in the profession with your colleagues or with somebody in your office, if it's with your players, and that, like, loyalty above all until it compromises your integrity. And I think we all spend a lot of time in our profession kind of thinking of what is our moral compass and what do we want to impart on these young adults and how are we going to do that. And with that in mind, I'd like to think we're all pretty high integrity people here, that, with that in mind, I trust what I think is the right thing to do. And when I don't know, I ask, and going back to, only ask when you want, only ask the people you trust. And it doesn't mean you have to take their advice. But when I don't know, I ask. I mean, I've talked to Hodge before about things like, hey, how would you handle this situation? I don't know what to do. And so I think at the end of the day, you have to know where you stand. Like, you have to know what you believe in and what you stand for.
Emily, going off of that, as we're here with Emily O'Donnell, assistant coach at the Coast Guard Academy for Women's Basketball, Caitlin Hodge Mahalis here with us, Kings College Women's Basketball head coach, Bridget Walsh, Kings College intern for sports information, and Amy Sakaitis here with us, head coach at Columbia Basin College for Women's Basketball. Emily, knowing who you are, the whole notion of if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. If you don't know your identity, then people will create it for you. Amy just brought it up. You have to know who you are, because if you don't know who you are and you go to attack a situation, you don't have your identity, which means you're at the mercy of getting lost or becoming a chameleon to other identities. What can you say to that? To learn who you, and granted, some people are 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old could be watching this saying, well, how am I supposed to know who I am? But as you get older and you build up kind of who you are and your personality, how important is it to know who you are? Because if you don't stand for something, you do fall for darn near everything.
I think it's extremely important. And you said 5, 10, 15. I was waiting for you to get to my age because I think we're always learning who we are. As much as we do know as we get older and the more life experiences we do have. But I'm still learning who I am. And that's where that inner circle comes in. And that's where you ask the people you trust when you don't know the answer. But it encompasses everything we've really talked about so far is knowing what makes you better and knowing what makes you stressed and knowing how you handle a difficult situation or 18 months of a pandemic or how your mental health is affected by a pandemic or a situation at work or a situation with your family. And then with that, knowing what you hold close to you. So your family, your friends, your pets, your water bottle, your workout routine, those things that encompass who you are. And something that I just remember talking about the last time we all talked was my why, and trying to figure that out and knowing what your why is or having an idea of what it is also how you know you. And going into a situation or every day is why am I here? And why am I going to Dunkin' this morning? And because I wanted to sleep an extra 10 minutes. Okay, that's my why in that situation. And that's a very simplified version of what I guess I'm trying to get across is why am I on this call talking to you for? Why is that important to me on my time right now? And knowing the why behind the reason you put yourself into situations and the reason why you're saying no to things and choosing to say no. That's another way you're getting to know yourself, and knowing who you are and what you stand for encompasses all of that.
I heard everything you said, but you dropped out when I think you said, I think you meant Cafe Cubal, but something came through as Dunkin'. That's all I heard. But I will say,
Connecticut, that's where I am.
What is your why? Why do you get up in the morning?
My alarm goes off. Well, today was because my alarm went off and the dogs needed to be let out as I'm dog sitting. But I think every day I get up and look for a way in this moment in time to be the best version of myself for these dogs I'm dog sitting, for my players, to be the best daughter I can be for my parents, to be the best friend I can be for my friends, because that's why I'm putting myself in those situations, those relationships, those events. And that's my external why right now. My internal why, can we come back to that? Because just working on that still. But no, just being the best version of myself, because it makes me feel good. That's why I go to the gym, because I feel better when I work out, break a sweat, and that helps my mental health, which makes me a better human for myself, to sit on the couch and be content with sitting on the couch and doing nothing, and being a better human for the other humans I interact with, the dogs that are running around at my feet. Those are the meanings behind my why today, at least.
Fair enough. I like it. Bridget, what's your why?
That's a great question. I think I really liked a lot of what Emily said, not to backpack off of all that great stuff, but I think being able to wake up every morning and go to work and be like, this is something I absolutely love, and feeling good about what I'm doing. And then also, being there for your family and your friends. I think, living at home with my parents for the past 18 months has made it really hard to not be the best version of myself for them. Coming home and knowing that mom just spent all this time cooking dinner for us, the least I can do is help do the dishes, and help clean up and pack everything up. So I think being comfortable with who I am in this moment, and then going out there and trying to be the best version of myself for everybody else around me. I think that's a big part of who I am and where I'm at right now.
Fair enough. And how much do you make sure that you're washing the dishes? A lot?
Oh, yes. Every chance I get, obviously. Come on.
Are you cooking, or are you just washing dishes?
I don't think mom trusts me to cook for everybody right now. I do like to when I can, and especially when it's just me or just me and my brother, but I don't think she trusts me like that just yet.
All right.
Bridget makes some banging desserts though.
We're learning. We're learning.
What are the desserts? I want to know now.
I'm trying to get into Oreo balls. I haven't quite perfected it yet, but I've made it a couple times and they come out pretty solid.
I have, you know what? You bring those up, and I just realized that I had those at the beginning of the pandemic, and I haven't had them since. So I think you need to make them.
I'm just going to ship some up. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you got to make them for everybody here, because I had cookie dough balls and Oreo balls, and now I'm realizing that it's been over a year since I've had either one of those.
Well, there you go. I'm just going to have to get right on that.
Yeah, you have to figure that out. Hodge, what is your why?
I think it's the kind of like what Emily said. It's like, because like whatever that fill in that blank, that's what it is. Like I like to do stuff for other people. I like to be a good human. I always talk about being a good human, but technically, like, all right, well, what do I get out of that? All right, well, like, it's believing that good exists kind of thing. So I think trying to just put that out there, knowing that I don't care if it comes back kind of thing. It's just someone's got to do it. So I would like to do it because that's the least I can do. And then other times sometimes my because is because I want to stay in bed all day and eat meats and cheeses and watch crap TV. So yeah, it's the why? Well, because.
I will say to break from this for a second, I want to know everybody's guilty pleasure show. I will tell you that mine, and I mean, I'm fine admitting this because I don't hide anything. I'm an open book, but I got Fubo TV because I'm notorious for getting, and now they're all going to know it. So I hope the streaming services aren't listening, but I will get the 7-day free trial and try to pack it all in. So I wait until a show is totally out. I get the free trial. I just told one of the guys that did the Army-Navy game. I said, I got CBS's app last year to watch the Army-Navy game and then delete it after the free trial. I got Fubo TV because for some odd reason, I'm back on the Jersey Shore. I don't know why, but I'm back there. And having the background that I have and part of it being Italian, I don't know what it is, but I watched this show, and they're in the 4th season of Family Vacation, and the 3rd season was free, and I watched it. But the 4th season wasn't available unless I bought something. So I got Fubo TV for free. However, I wasn't done. And they charged me $64.99. So it went from free to $65 in a month. And I still haven't deleted it because I'm still not done. And I can't get rid of it. Even though I'm spending money like I got cable, I can't get rid of it until I find out what happens to the crew. So that is my guilty pleasure show. Lily, my dog, and I watch it religiously. I don't know why. So, Hodge, I'm going to stay with you on this. What is your guilty pleasure show? What is your crap TV?
I will stay with you on the MTV. I watch The Challenge. I have to watch that. I'll get salty because it used to be more like competition and less just people drunkenly screaming at each other, but still I watch it and still I love it. And I need to know every season what happens, but I'm like you, I'll wait till the whole thing's over and kind of binge it.
Emily, what is your guilty pleasure show?
Well, right now it's probably Below Deck and Below Deck Mediterranean and Below Deck Sailing Yacht. And
it's like Real Housewives.
But it's also like Teen Mom and Teen Mom 2. You know, I go back and forth depending on what is on. I did just text the group that I was binge watching Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, but like that's an everyday type of thing. It's, you know, I have a bunch.
Syracuse has been featured on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives with 3 of our restaurants, and Man vs. Food is actually one of my partners I work with, Mother's Cupboard, and they were on Man vs. Food, and I got to create my own version of chicken and waffles and the sauce for it, and we're now selling my chicken and waffles up north in Syracuse since they don't make any chicken and waffles up north. It's only in the south. So you guys are going to have to try chicken. Even if you've never had them before, I'm going to tell you it's worth it.
Say less. Getting me to eat chicken and waffles, say less.
Okay. Bridget, what is your guilty pleasure show?
I don't know that you guys mentioned Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. During the pandemic, I was a lot of bar rescue. I'm not gonna lie. I would like plot myself in the TV and watch bar rescue and think I'm a bartender over here. So that was a big part of it. But I am a sucker for the Bachelor franchise. So the fact that I missed Bachelor in Paradise tonight is big, people. I'm not gonna know what happened for the next 48 hours, and it's gonna irk me. But every season, I'm like, nope, can't watch it. It's gonna be painful. It's gonna be the same nonsense. But every season, there I am every Monday night at 8 o'clock watching it. So.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about The Bachelor, but I didn't watch it for years upon years upon years.
Same.
And then I went to my mom's house and she had it on. And then I'm in the house, I'm doing stuff and I'm paying attention and I'm kind of looking and I'm hearing like the women say stuff and I'm hearing the guy and I'm hearing the girls, I'm hearing the guy. And then I start giving my thoughts. Now I'm start going like, is this woman stupid? Did she just hear what this guy said? And now I'm invested. And now I'm thinking to myself, do women like when guys say this? Do guys really say this? And now I'm in it. And if I've realized anything about dating, which is a reason why there's just me and Lily in the house, is that the world of dating in today's, it makes, I don't know if anybody can say this on the screen or wants to, but I can say it fully. Dating makes no logical sense in 2021. I think the pandemic makes more sense than dating. I do.
I definitely can confirm that.
See, can be confirmed.
Okay.
Amy,
I shall second.
Fair enough. Amy, you have to tell us our why, or your why, because I'd love to hear that. And we've heard it from everyone else here, and I want to make sure we get to your why. So what is your why? And then secondly, what is your guilty pleasure show?
Sure. I think we all kind of have a similar why, but mine is a little bit more pessimistic sometimes. Social media has showed me how many horrible people there are out there in the world. And so I just want to be one battle against that in any way that I can. And I know that sounds very pessimistic, but I think in the last couple of years, but more or less in the last 18 months, we've seen some of the best of what people can be, and we've seen some of the worst, and we just need more of people doing the best and providing and helping and supporting others for, like Hodge said, not to get anything in return other than it's the right thing to do. And we had a camp in Nome, Alaska. My dad and I did a camp about a month ago now, and we're talking to a group of, 4th or 5th graders, and his whole message to them, and it was something that we don't talk about a lot, is do something for somebody and don't expect something in return. So, take the trash out, not because if you do, you're going to get $2 for your chores. Okay, the 4th graders or whatever, right? Do it because it's just going to help your mom out, clean the living room because it's going to help your mom out, not because you feel like, oh, if I do this, then maybe I'll get the new ski jacket this year, like that type of thing. And so I think we don't have enough of that. And so I guess my why is to perpetually be that and make everyone else want to be that I'm around. Or don't be around other people like that.
Fair. What is your guilty pleasure? And I like that, you see that the villains are teaming up together. And so you're saying, you know what, then I'm going to go out here and I'm going to put on my shield. I'm going to get things right. I'm going to put my own team together, my own positive team together. So I love that. I love that you see negativity and it makes you want to be more positive as opposed to pulling you down and only builds your fire to do good. That's a good thing.
Basically. Yeah.
So what's your guilty pleasure show?
Well, so I don't really have one. Not like a reality TV show. I don't watch reality TV. The only reality TV show I watch is Drunk History. And it's over now. It's over now. I made my brother do one for me once. It was hilarious. But I would say my guilty pleasure is I love to read. I'm a big reader. I will read the trashiest beach novels that possibly could exist that are just about affairs and big boats and lots of money and all these ridiculous things that I would never watch on reality TV, but I would read the book.
Are they good? Are these trashy novels? They all look the same when you walk by them.
Yeah, well, okay, there's a level of, because I say trashy novels, but I have a certain bubble that I really like that have a little mystery to them. Sometimes there's usually a little scandal, but there's a lot of family ties in them. And there's 4 or 5 authors that I just read. I mean, there's 3 authors out there that I've read everything they've written to the tune of 25 books each.
Who are they?
Well, Ellen Hildebrand is my beach read, Janet Ivanovich, and then my more mystery would be Nelson DeMille.
Okay. All right.
Who needs to come out with a new book because he's the best history writer ever.
Fair enough. So Amy Sakaitis here with us, as well as Caitlin Hajmahalis, Emily O'Donnell, Bridget Walsh, myself, Dan Tortora, inside the Cafe Kubal studios. Before we get to our final piece, which is rapid fire, I know I'm opening the door to a big conversation in this, but we're going to kind of just give us, we'll kind of give a little primer here in this moment. It must be so bad that Amy's in a world where
The sun's setting, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So for must be nice. So to open the door to NIL, name, image, and likeness, I'm sure in a future show we will break this down deeper, and as we continue to learn about it, we'll attack it. I think there's way more questions than answers, and I feel like there's always more questions added, and I'm still not getting a lot of answers. So Amy, I'm going to stay with you. Name, image, and likeness makes you think what?
I'm for it.
Okay.
I'm for it. It's about time. It's taken long enough. I think that there's, again, like you said, there's so many weeds to it, but at the end of the day, I think that if the, musician on campus at Colorado State on a guitar scholarship can go out and make money with his skill set, why can't the basketball player? So
fair enough.
That's my short gist.
Hodge?
I agree from hey, if you're talented enough to get an endorsement from somewhere, you should be able to get that. I think my main question out of the whole thing is the slippery slope. Does it lead into, you read scenarios where people are like, all right, well, NCAA is just no longer going to exist at a Division I level. It's going to turn into whatever it's going to turn into.
Yeah.
That's cool, but they fund us at the Division III level and like the Division II level. So that would be a concern, just because, all right, well, then what does that actually look like? And there's so many different avenues. But I think from the athlete standpoint, yeah, if you're good enough to go, like Amy said, use your skill to get endorsements or use your personality to get endorsements, by all means, go for it. But I just worry like the whole, do things disband in 10 years and how does that look?
It's interesting you say that, because about 4 years ago I said, due to the fact that the NCAA has different punishments for the same breaking of rules. If school A breaks the rule, it's punishment 1. If school B breaks the same rule, it's punishment 2. If school C breaks the rule, then it's maybe no punishment. With that, plus name, image, and likeness, plus the fact that they say that they are a non-for-profit that makes billions of dollars, all of these things coupled together, I said 4 years ago, within the next 5 to 10 years, the NCAA is not going to exist the way that we know it, if it exists at all. They're now hitting that 5-year window, and you have 5 conferences in autonomy, and autonomy by definition at Division I's level of the Pac-12, Big 12, SEC, ACC, and Big 10 is that they are self-governing. They can leave whenever the heck they want to if they legislatively want to write themselves out. And what does that look like to the rest of the world? I have a lot of questions to the NCAA. I think they need a ruling body to check them, because right now they function alone. But like you said, they're there to fund Division II and Division III. However, I do think they can treat Division II and Division III much better. I am a proponent that if you're going to pay student athletes in such means, if you're going to cover their tuition, then Division III should not be rendered by itself. If everybody can make money for name, image, and likeness, then why does D1 and D2 have scholarships and D3 does not? If you're under the NCAA, I think that every division should offer scholarships. That's my feeling. That's my thought, because the equality at the Division III level is not there. And Hodge, you and I coming from a Division III school, and a lot of us understanding the Division III world, it's not acceptable to treat Division III as if it's the little brother or little sister in the grand scheme of things. If the NCAA is your parent, then the NCAA needs to feed all their kids equally. Bridget, name, image, and likeness. Your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. Hop on board with the, if you've got these talents, like especially on social media and with the world of, TikTok and Instagram, and like being able to hone some different parts of your personality to like put yourself out there and make money off it. Great. You see like the twins from, Cal, wherever, that were able to like hone their skills and make a social media name for themselves, or Sedona Prince from Oregon. Like, you have that ability, you have that personality that ties in well with your social media platform. Use it, make money on it. Great. I was also reading something, this 300-pound linebacker got some like barbecue place to sponsor him because it fits his image, it fits what he likes to do, and it was a good fit for him. But at the same time, I think these student athletes don't need to understand, it should align with your brand. It should align with like what your college stands for. Because I think we're going to run into a lot of troubles moving forward with kids just wanting to get out there and like make a quick buck or get some free merch and not understanding fully what they're doing. So I think it's huge on us as like, college coaches and administrators and people and the higher ups to educate these student athletes to make sure that they're doing what's best for them for their career.
I think what you said is tremendous, because I had the opportunity with the American Athletic Conference to ask pretty much all the schools or student athletes, what do you think on name, image, and likeness? And what I loved that these young individuals said was, a lot of them said, just because we can make money doesn't mean we should take it. Mm-hmm. We need to align things with our brand and in who we are. And just because people are calling us, that's great, but I'm going to be picky and choosy about who I take in. So they are doing what you said, some of them are. Okay. And they said, my number one goal here is to win a championship and take care of my team. So yeah, the money's great, but I'm still a team player first. And I was shocked that I was hearing that in a world that's become so selfish, that these players were saying, hey, yeah, I can make money, but that's not more important to me than winning a championship. Right. So great points. And thank God some of the kids feel that way.
For sure.
Emily, name, image, and likeness means what?
I put it on the back burner because I can push it off to the military and they have to do stuff. So I, at least personally with our cadet athletes, we are waiting for a lot of things before it's even like a thought. So I've put it on the back burner. I generally agree with what everyone else has said. It's a great opportunity. I love that it's across all three divisions. I think that's awesome. I also think that it puts a little more on coaches and administrators, like Bridget mentioned, to educate ourselves on everything that it entails to be able to educate our athletes. And then also, as much as I love what you said, Dan, and like a bunch of kids are thinking that way, it is more of our coaching and our leadership to get the rest of them to think that way and to think in more of a long-term perspective. Like Bridget said, not making a quick buck, thinking about what you want to do in 10 years. Is this commercial going to come up, or is this image going to come up? Because it doesn't go away. And now that we're getting to the age where a lot of people have had the internet and social media for so much of their lives, more of them may realize that, but they're also 18 and 23-year-olds and may not. And once it's out there, it doesn't go away. So I think that's another thing where we have to realize that and then pass that along to the athletes.
Yeah. Everything on the internet is never, ever truly deleted, which people need to know. Here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Kubal Studios, we're going to do a round robin of rapid fire. The way that it works out is, as you're looking at us on the screen, I am here in the center, and to my right on the screen is Bridget. Below her is Emily. To Emily's left is Hodge, and then up on the left-hand side is Amy. So the way that I've worked this out is that we will go around the circle clockwise and then counterclockwise. So who we ask a question will be able to ask a question back. I'll start things off by going to Bridget.
Oh boy.
Bridget, you have to take on a role in today's world. I'm going to give you 3 choices.
Okay.
And you have to tell me why you take the role and what you're going to do with it. You can be the President of the United States, the President of the NCAA,
oh boy,
or the head of the WNBA.
Oh boy.
What job do you take and why?
Well, I think the obvious choice is the head of the WNBA. I mean, what's such a growing platform and support under women's sports, I think that's a huge task to take on, but also it's so much fun. You get to sit around people that are all going for the same goal, promote women's sports, increase exposure and increase attention and love for the game. I think there's no shortage of fun and excitement that's going to be in that job, right? Every single day you're going to walk in the office and it's going to be different. I think there's a lot of stress and pressure and being the president and with the state of the world as it is, I don't think I want that stress and pressure on my life ever. NCAA, that's just a jumble mess right now. But I mean, it's been a jumble mess for a while, so we're still going on strong, right? So I think the WNBA and where it's headed, I like the positivity of the direction that it's going in. I think I'd love to be a part of that more so than the other two.
Okay, fair enough. We'll continue clockwise, and you will now ask a question to Emily.
This is always so tough. This is why I don't like going for kind of first. Emily, what is your favorite holiday and why?
Well, no. Probably, I guess I would say Christmas, just because Christmas Eve we go over to my cousin's house and I get to see a lot of my extended family. And there's like younger kids, so Christmas through kids' eyes is always more magical. Like with the Santa tracker and opening presents and giving them presents, and they're getting ready to go to bed really early and then they don't go to bed early, but just that family time. And then we still all wait for my parents to wake up Christmas morning, and because most of us, my sister and I will come home, my brother lives there, so we'll go home and wake up Christmas morning, still too early, and open presents together. And then we'll do something for food later in the day, but together. So that's why it's my favorite.
Like it. Emily, now yours for Hodge.
See, I don't like asking the questions either. All right. Hodge, describe your perfect breakfast. Location, food, all of the above.
I love everything there is to love about breakfast. Dan and I have had many a conversation about cereal choices. Hit me up with just really good, like scrambled eggs with cheese, but steak on the side, or you can scramble it in. Really doesn't matter. Some breakfast potatoes, just regular and or sweet or both. Some like peppers, onions, all in that good stuff. Fry it up. A nice mimosa would be solid. And some strawberries. Call it a day. I'll make it in my house. I don't care. I'll go wherever. It's Mama Hodge makes the best breakfast out of anybody I've ever had. So nice little home cooking from Mama Hodge. Sign me up.
Emily, you asked that question in this moment without Hodge knowing, and she literally had like what would be most people's death row meal right there ready.
I happen to love everything there's to love about breakfast, so I'm ready for that question always.
Yeah. And we have discussed breakfast a lot, and Hodge and I are the mad scientists when it comes to mixing cereals. And I just did it this morning. I had Honey Nut Cheerios and Lucky Charms because I was at the end of my Lucky Charms and there wasn't enough, and I had Honey Nut, and so I put the Lucky Charms under, so the Honey Nut was good, but then the little surprise was that there's marshmallows underneath. So
I support it.
It's a big kid. It's just a big kid thing. What is your question, Hodge, for Amy?
Amy, did you have a ringback tone? And if you did, what was it? And if you didn't, what was your ringtone back in the day?
Wow.
Wait. Okay. Did I have a ringback tone? Yes.
Yeah. What was it?
I had a ringtone. I didn't have a ringback tone.
The ringback is the one when you call and I hear it?
Yeah, I didn't have that.
Okay, well, then what was your ringtone?
Okay, it's funny that you said this because this song came on the radio the other day. At one point in time, it was Cupid's Chokehold. Take a Look at My Girlfriend. That one. At one point in time, in college, I think. And it came on the radio the other day, and I was like, "Ooh, nostalgia."
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Awesome, Amy. What's your question for me?
Okay. Best interview, not best as in coolest person you've ever interviewed, but most interesting interview you've ever had.
Wow. I would have to say, it's weird when I get asked a question of this magnitude, it always reverts in my mind to something I never recorded. And I'm going to say that my best interview conversation was my Uncle Pat. I'll give him this for this one. He was in World War II, and his story legitimately is like, I kind of have toyed with the idea of literally making this movie, because screenwriting is a part of my life, and I've done directing and producing. And I was like, I can make this movie. I don't believe that anything can hold me back. That's just how I am. And so he just passed, and he was going to be 100 in November. And my great uncle Pat, I want to say, I think I have something of his in here, but my great uncle Pat was shot down. He was in the Air Force. He was shot down over Luxembourg. And so when they were leaving a routine mission or something, one of the engines caught a bunch of stuff that was shot their way. And so the plane started to go down. Well, he parachuted out with the pilot, doesn't know what happened to the rest of the crew. Him and the pilot parachute down, and they land in the forest, and they're starving. And there's a sandwich that's sitting on a tree stump. So they go out into the open, and they go to grab this sandwich and take it, obviously, from whoever had made it for themselves. And this guy spots him. And the pilot says to my Uncle Pat, "What do we do?" And he said, "Well, there's nothing we can do. They've seen us. Either they're going to kill us or they're going to help us." And that's what he said in the moment. They decided to help them. They brought them into this home in Luxembourg. This family hid them from the Nazis inside of a stove. When you push it, there was an open hole behind the stove. Put them there, and they were there for months, hearing the Nazis knock on the door saying, "If you have any Americans here, we're going to kill you in front of your children. We're going to kill you in front of your family." And they kept them safe. Today, there is a monument at the house. There's a book written, and my Uncle Pat used to go back every single year to visit the family who is responsible for saving his life. And my Aunt Sue said, one day we were sitting at the kitchen table, and my Uncle Pat had brought out all these books, and he had all of this stuff. He had his papers of when he got lost that were sent to my great-grandparents. He had the thing that they gave him to milk a cow, like all the kits that they gave him if they couldn't find food and they were out in the open, fishing hooks and whatnot, and all of this stuff. And I flipped to this one part, and there's what looks like a passport, but it looks like it's drawn. And he had told me that when he was in Luxembourg and Luxembourg had been taken by the Allies, he came out of the house, and this one Nazi didn't know, and he yelled and he said, "Charge, go forward." And he goes in this tank over the hill, and this Nazi just gets completely obliterated. And he's on the ground, and my uncle comes out, my great uncle comes out, stands over his body, and he took off of him whatever he could, and he took his papers. So he had his working papers. He had a coin from Nazi Germany, which when it fell and I put it in my hand, it looked like a quarter, but it was gold and it was bigger. And it was an eagle, just like the quarter, standing, but it was standing on the Nazi swastika. And I remember holding on to it saying, not that I didn't think it happened, but it was like this was proof that it did happen. And I felt like I was holding on to a piece of hell. 2 hours we spoke that day in his kitchen, and he cried. And my Aunt Sue looked at me and she said, "Daniel, he has never spoken for this long amount of a time about the war to anybody. So that honor means the world to me and always will." But after he passed, my cousins, his daughters, my cousin Suzanne, she hugged me and she said, "My father loved you. He was extremely proud of your business and in everything you achieved, and he paid close attention." My cousin Cindy hugged me and said, "Thank you for making my father feel noticed." So that's my favorite interview. By far.
That's a significantly better answer than I was expecting.
Seriously.
That's incredible.
So shout out to my Uncle Pat up in heaven. Amy, my question to you to go back around the world here. I'm gonna keep it with something deep here. What is the single best conversation you feel like you ever had, and who was it with?
Oh, God. That's a best conversation I've ever had. I don't know that I have an answer for that. at all. I think that I have had some more recent. So I moved out here in June, and my dad and I drove across the country together. Took us like 3.5 days, and I got to hear all of his stories, like when he was right out of Vietnam, when he came back, and it's the late '60s, and he spent a summer on Martha's Vineyard and got to listen to James Taylor play on the beach, and like stuff like that. So I think just kind of hearing what his life was like at 20 to 25 before he met my mom and got married and all that, and just that kind of portion of his life was really cool. And it was things I didn't know, things that we some of it I'd heard in passing before, but not had gone into such great depth with. But I like to think in general, I enjoy deep conversation with people, so I do tend to have them often. That's kind of a thing when my friends and I get together. Usually it ends up there somehow, and you learn something new about each other. So, yeah.
Well, that's an awesome answer. And the deep conversations are the best ones. The ones where you're on the phone for, I don't even know, 2 hours, 5 hours, and you don't know where the time went, but you know that it meant something and it feels like 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
What is your question for Hodge?
Hodge. What is, if you could pick one thing to do over, a big thing, not a little thing in life, what would it be?
It's a good question. I think the first one that comes to mind is the not so much college athletics from the physical standpoint or playing games or whatnot, but I wish I had the positive self-talk and the boundaries that I have now to where I could have gotten more out of the experience instead of spending so much time making myself miserable and making myself feel like I wasn't good and actually could have done a better job, because obviously I enjoyed it. Obviously I had a good time. I did okay. I think I could have done better, but I think I could have done better if I was kinder to myself during it. So I think from that standpoint, I would do that.
I can resonate with that.
Yeah. That just happens when you're old, Now I'm old. So I got Emily now, yeah?
Yep.
All right. Emily, let's go with what's one thing that you haven't experienced that you're really looking forward to?
Visiting Amy in Washington.
I cannot tell a lie. I would love to visit you. I mean, I don't think it'd be anytime soon, but I really want to be a mom someday. That's probably the biggest thing. I don't know. Okay, can that be done? Bridget. So.
After you just melted my heart, my God.
I love kids.
The same.
Now I just take them and give them back, and no, eventually, yeah, I want my own kids.
I love that. I was like, I want to be a mom someday. Anyways.
I don't do well with this. I do, but one-on-one.
Well, if it makes you both feel better emotionally, because I heard Bridget say it too, I have wanted to be a dad my whole life. And I remember being 15 years old, being like, I'm going to be a dad when I'm in my 20s. And, at this 25, I'm going to have my first kid. And obviously that didn't happen. And that's always in the back of my head. And I called my parents and said to them individually, I was like, I'm sorry that you're not a grandfather or grandmother yet. And my parents were just like, what are you apologizing for? We love you. So it melts your heart. But I think it is. I mean, is there a better job? I don't think so. So I can second your emotion, Emily. So to make you and Bridget feel better, I have all the feels with that too.
Oh man. Bridget. Now all I'm imagining is the music on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I get sidetracked. Okay, what is your favorite or like most impactful like childhood memory?
Oof. Oh, there's so many. And now I'm hearing the Jeopardy music. Oh, I mean, it's not one specific memory. It's kind of like a chain of memories, but like going, and this is obviously cheesy coming from a basketball nerd. My grandparents on my mom's side used to be huge, like University of Scranton roadies. So like they'd go to every home game and they'd go to like, have a couple like close local games because my grandpa played at the U back in the day, not well, but he played. And they always had like their specific spot in the bleachers that they sat at with like their other Scranton faithfuls. And my grandma always had, you know, the bags of lollipops. She's like the lollipop lady at every game. She just passed them around. So I think those like games at, you know, the John Long Center, going there and like being that little kid that runs on the court and tries to shoot around at halftime, and just like being there with them and spending all that time. And sometimes we'd like go get pizza after or before, depending on the time, but just like those moments of being there with them. I think that played a huge role in like where I came today, like to play basketball in college and to like be so involved with sports. So yeah, that's probably it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Bridget, your question for me.
Trying to think. I had a lighthearted one, but this one, these have been getting a little more personal and emotional. So
Hodge gets the food, and then we're talking about being parents and stuff, and so.
Emily, you got a ring back tone question.
I like the ring back tone.
She's
one.
right. It's a good one.
My buddy has a ring back tone still. He has that orchestra one, like the normal, and I think it makes you feel like, I would imagine that when people call him, that because you hear that, it's like someone who wants to call you to yell at you. When they have to listen to that and you let that play, like it almost makes you not want to yell because it like brings you down. It's
That's
smart.
the trick to coaching. I need to get on that.
Yeah, you do. You got to have
right. Actually, I'm going to stick with music a little bit. So like if you had an anthem for your life, what would it be?
Wow. That's good. There's a lot. There's a lot of funny ones I can go to. I would say, okay, well, I'll get sentimental with this one because my high school wasn't really a great experience for me. So I would say the song that really got me, I heard at the end of my time in high school, and it's one that reminds me a lot, is I Hope You Dance. So I would say that one. But I would say when I do my first, like when I come back to Syracuse and I sell out the Dome for my comedy special, I'm coming out to Young Jeezy's Put On. So, because that Put On for my city, there's something about that. So, something about that. There's also a song by Kane Brown, which is the same type of feel, called Hometown. So, I'd probably go with that too. But yeah, I think what gets me hyped to come out, like Put On, that's a definite. But that's what, I mean, I can get into my feelings. I can listen to country music, this, that, whatever. But if I'm going somewhere and I'm trying to amp myself up, I'm going to hip hop. So
sure.
I got to live in that world.
For sure.
And I think there's a lot that can be played there. There's a lot of funny ones too. So, and for anybody that goes on my Instagram story, there's many a music that I decided to put on there. I just put something on today. But I don't know. I feel it's whatever I'm feeling in the moment, and I kind of just rock with it. But Put On that's the one where I dropped the mic on my Syracuse special for sure.
Nice.
That's that one. So with that being said, Amy Sakaitis, as well as Caitlin Hodge Mahalis, Emily O'Donnell, and Bridget Walsh here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, representing, in order here, Columbia Basin College women's basketball, as well as King's College women's basketball, and of course, King's College in general, and representing the Coast Guard Academy for women's basketball. I want to thank you all for this extensive conversation. We talk about long, deep conversations that Amy brought up, and this conversation, to me, hopefully to you as well, never feels like it's as long as it is. And then I look at it and I'm like, wow, we probably go another hour on this thing. So I want to thank you all for spending your time, because time is something you'll never get back and it's precious. So to you, Bridget, Emily, Hodge, and Amy, thank you from the bottom of my heart that because of you all allowing me to do this, we get to share this with the community. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Dan.